Your home for the Cowboys. KTFM Floresville and SASportsStar.com. San Antonio's Sports Star. San Antonio's Sports Center.
Well, believe it or not, we are less than a week away from the NBA draft, and Spurs rumors have picked up. According to reports, San Antonio will work out French prospect Zachary Richichet. He will also work out, reportedly, with the Hawks and the Wizards. NFL training camp dates have been released as we're under a month away from the start of the NFL. Texans will open things up in Houston on July 17th. Cowboys open up in Oxnard on the 24th, and we will be there.
Sports Center is brought to you by Buyers Barricades, the Texas Authority in Barricade Rental. BuyersBarricades.com.
Joe Reinagel.
And for the third time in 7 seasons, the San Antonio Spurs are the NBA champions.
Jason Minutes.
They go back to big day as the champions. Dallas 52, Buffalo 17.
It's the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
You know, having a hump day break up the week.
Hump day.
Little day off on a hump day.
Hump day.
Was kind of nice, wasn't it? Broke it up. I hope you guys missed us out there. Hi, everybody. This is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. I'm Joe Reinagel. Jason Minix is on vacation, but James Pledger is not. He is working, punching the buttons, and living in the glass box of fun. We are so happy that you are here on this Thursday, baby Friday, Friday Eve, whatever it is you want to call it. Doesn't really matter. It's a great day. I always like Thursdays. So it's good to be back. Good to be back in the saddle. And, man, do we have a lot to talk about. And a lot of stuff that we missed yesterday. We'll kind of recap. It was a sad day with Willie Mays passing away at the age of 93. Perhaps one of the greatest baseball players of all time. I know it's arguably that, but in my opinion, he's got to be right up there without a doubt. Monte Williams, but somebody please fire me and let me walk away with $65 million. Will you do that? I would be very happy. I'd say, they say, you're fired. I'm going, thank you.
Isn't it over $100 million when you combine what he's making from the Suns as well?
Wow, I'm sure it is. You know, Mike Brown had that same thing. Remember Mike Brown? He was a former Spurs assistant. Coached Cleveland for a while, got fired. Coached the Lakers for a while, got fired. That dude was just hanging on and getting paid by everybody. And now Monte Williams is that way as well. So happy for Monte Williams. You know, that couldn't happen to a nicer guy. And I know he wants to coach. And I think he's a great coach. He's just a great guy, first and foremost. But the fact that he gets fired after 1 year and walks away with $65 million, somebody please do that to me. You put it up on billboards and TV commercials and all of that kind of stuff. Yeah, we fired that Joe Reinagel. Say, yeah, you did, but I got $65 million in the bank.
Make sure you stress that part. Because when you come on here and say, somebody please fire me, like that, it's very dangerous.
Are you going to make that into a clip there? I can see it now. Pledge has got that, right? Oh, my goodness. But hey, happy for Monte. He'll land somewhere if he wants to. I don't know what the stipulation is in the contract. If you get another job, does that go away? And if it does, take a couple of years off, Monte. Enjoy life and have a good time with all of that money. He'll be back. He's still a young man. So it's good to go. Also, when we were talking to you on Tuesday, before we left with the day off yesterday, the Edmonton Oilers were trailing the Florida Panthers 3-1. We told you about Kate, the boob girl. Remember her? She's the girl that flashed everybody in the arena. And then kind of disappeared for a while. She reemerged on Tuesday, and guess what happened? Edmonton, the Oilers won that game, Game 5, and I don't think it's a coincidence. I don't think it is a coincidence. If you missed it, though, this is what Kate, the boob girl, said on Tuesday.
Oilers girl. Actually, my name's Kate, but here we are. So I've thought long and hard about what I wanted to say to everybody. Anybody who knows me knows that I'm at one of my favorite places right now. Come here to do some thinking, we'll call it. But I just wanted to say, You could be the most perfect, godly person in the world. You could save kittens from a river if they were drowning. Someone's still going to hate you. So you know what? At the end of the day, I got drunk and whipped my out at an Oilers game and they went viral. You if you don't like it. Woo! Go Oilers.
No coincidence in my mind. There is no coincidence. She reemerges and comes back to life, tells everybody just to go jump in a lake, basically. And the Edmonton Oilers win that game in Florida, no less, Game 5. So they force a Game 6, which will be tomorrow night in Edmonton against the Florida Panthers. And so still Edmonton with a long road to go. But now that Kate the Boob Girl is back, I give them all the chance in the world. And that's about all the hockey you'll hear from me here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. It takes Kate the Boob Girl to get a hockey segment on the Blitz when Minix is gone, even when he's here. But I don't find that as a coincidence. So I'm looking at that score, and I didn't watch the game Tuesday night. But, I saw game. Yeah, well, I'm sure it was great. But I saw the score, Pledge, and I'm going, you know what? You tell me. There are no coincidences. It happened. She reemerges. Edmonton wins. Bada bing, bada boom.
I did see one of the craziest saves in that game.
I saw that video
empty
too.
Netter.
Yep, I saw that video too. That was pretty incredible. So Game 6 of that series will be tomorrow night in Edmonton. And we can only hope that Kate is in attendance for the Oilers in Game 6. And maybe they can come back and force a Game 7. We'll see. I don't really care, to be totally honest with you, but Kate makes it interesting. So that's why we're talking about it today. There's a couple of things I want to bring up before we get into the meat of what we're going to discuss. And I think, Pledge, you'll probably have a pretty good opinion of this as well. Oh, we got some breaking news coming down right now. The JJ Redick agrees to a 4-year deal to become the head coach of the Los Angeles Lakers. No details yet that we've seen or that they flashed up, and we'll keep you posted. But I want to see if it's anywhere near what Dan Hurley was offered with the 6-year, 70 million, whatever it was. So
yeah, that was it.
We'll see what Redick has done, but that just came down. Woj reporting that JJ Redick is the new head coach of the Los Angeles Lakers. No surprise there. We'll talk a little bit more about the Lakers coming up in a minute because LeBron James said something. LeBron James, yes. Is that a word? You know what I'm talking about? Kind of dumb and just he wants people to talk about him. And well, obviously we took the hook and we're going to talk about LeBron. That's coming up later. So the breaking news, JJ Redick, he's the head coach of the Lakers. Had a little argument with my little brother today. My little brother in age only. He's bigger than I am, but physically. But he every now and then, little brothers just say the stupidest things. Just stupid stuff. And today was one of those days. Randy, my brother, and I work out 3-4 days a week, whatever it is. And we were working out this morning. And the golf tournament was on. The Travelers is on. So I said, had the Travelers this. And I said, can you believe that Rory skipped that? And I said, not only that, can you believe that knucklehead, what he did after the end of the U.S. Open? And he goes, what are you talking about? I don't blame him. I don't blame him at all for doing that. And if anybody that's arguing that, they've never been an athlete. And I said, whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. There, little fella. I said, first of all, that's an idiotic statement, completely an idiotic statement. I said, second of all, it is an athlete's responsibility to not only show good sportsmanship, which Rory did not, but number two, to meet with the media. It's part of your job. Look, and I know people hate it. Greg Popovich hates meeting with the media. There were people that did. Tim Duncan didn't like it so much. But it's your obligation. It is part of your job as a professional athlete. So we got into an argument, and I said, look, Rory McIlroy or anybody else that's playing golf or playing basketball or football or baseball or whatever sport you want to say would not make anywhere the money that they make now if it was not for the media. It's just a fact. The TV contracts are outrageous, completely outrageous, but we all enjoy watching professional sports. And that's why the TV networks pay the money that they pay. So you are obligated as a part of all of that to talk with the media. And I have never understood, and now keep in mind, I'm coming at this from a media member, so maybe I'm a little biased on that side of it. But I've never understood why coaches and players. I take that back. Let me just. That came out of my mouth, and I want to pull it right back. I understand why sometimes they don't want to, because look, members of the media can be donkeys, just like anybody else, right? We can all be donkeys. We can all ask stupid questions. Yeah. We can all do all of that kind of stuff, but it doesn't matter. You are obligated to meet with the media. It is part of your job before and after a game. It just is part of your job. So my question to all of you, since I'm coming at this from a media standpoint, since Pledge is coming at this from a media standpoint, I want to know what y'all think, what you guys think out there. Whether you're watching us on YouTube today, we appreciate that. Please subscribe and like our channel. You can get me on Twitter at Joe Reinagle 210, or you can do it the old-fashioned way. You can give us a call here at the radio station, 210-656-ESPN, 656-3776. What is your feeling on athletes dissing the media? Now, it's two different conversations when it comes to Rory McIlroy and what he did last week. Not showing good sportsmanship by shaking hands with Bryson DeChambeau or, congratulating him. That's one thing. That in itself is bad, but leave that aside for now, because I think we all agree on that. Dissing the media, dissing the post-golf press conference. Now, other athletes have done it, certainly. They get frustrated, they get upset, they don't want to talk to the media, but they're supposed to. So I just want to know, somebody that's not as close to it as I am, somebody that is a fan, do you care whether an athlete skips the media or not?
I do. It's more so not from a media perspective, but as a league perspective. These sports leagues have grown to what they've grown to because of media and everyone kind of putting their best players out in front of them so that they can get to the public. And I know social media has changed that in a lot of ways, but for the league itself, not the player, for the league, whatever league it may be, it is a good thing that has helped to grow that sport. Therefore, those prices, those contracts, the reason they make the money they do is because of the media obligations that have led to the salaries becoming what they are.
And see, Pledge, you hit the nail on the head. Used to be, before social media was a thing, the media was the only way that fans got to hear from players, whether it was newspaper, television, radio, whatever the case was. It was the only way to do that. And now I think that players have their own platform to talk to the fans themselves. I think that they can just, skirt their obligations. But let me just tell you, as a member of the media for so long, and being frustrated by athletes that you wanted to talk to, you had every right to talk to, and they just blew you off. It's not right. And don't let anybody tell you, whether it's an athlete, a coach, or anybody else, that it's not a part of their job, because it is a part of their job. That is an obligation for every member of every professional sports team. It is, and they have to adhere to it. That includes PGA Tour golfers, especially guys named Rory McIlroy when you miss a 3-foot putt.
And on top of that, not only is it for them to do an obligatory thing that they have to put forth. But at the same time, by not doing it from your own platform, the narrative can't be twisted to however you want to twist it. You
Right.
get honest questions and hopefully an honest reaction from said player from an unbiased source.
Amen, brother. And all of that is true. And so that was the argument that I got into. So it got me to thinking, number one, my brother can say things that are half cocked sometimes. And then sometimes, he's just, it's that little brother thing. Secondly, though, he's not a member of the media, never has been a member of the media. So for him, it wasn't that big of a deal. In fact, he was on the side of Rory McIlroy. So I posed that question. If you're interested in answering it, or do you even care? Does it matter to you anymore that you hear from an athlete in a post-game press conference or in a newspaper article, whether it's electronic that right after the game or in a newspaper the next day, if anybody still reads the newspaper? I'm not sure that happens anymore, but you know what I'm talking about. Most of us read it electronically. But I just thought that was curious, and it's really just for me selfishly, and I kind of want to know. And because I'd really like for y'all to send a message to, I don't know, the fellas down there at the Rock at La Cantera, and I don't know, the Dallas Cowboys don't have to worry about because they do, and but anybody else, I really would be curious. And we're getting a couple of on our YouTube channel from Turd Ferguson. He says, I can't stand listening to Dookie Dak talk about getting better and doing better. I didn't bring up Dak Prescott. It wasn't me. It was Turd Ferguson. All right. It wasn't me, just for the record. And I understand that too. A lot of those press conferences are just a coach speak or player speak or whatever the case may be. But I don't know. It was a little argument we had this morning. And I say argument, it was more of a debate than anything. But that guys like me, guys like Minix, Rob Thompson, AJ Hoffman, Pledge, we really don't ever stop working. If there's a debate to be had, we're going to have it, regardless of where that is, on the golf course, at the gym, in HEB, at a restaurant. It really doesn't make any difference what we do, but we pretty much do it all the time, which really makes things very fun and very interesting. So let me know what you think throughout the show. I'll remind you of that little argument as we go on here on the Blitz. But first, when we come back, what would be the best fit for Victor Wembanyama, since we are now less than a week away from the NBA draft? It happens next Wednesday. Round 1, round 2 will be next Thursday. But really the important day is round 1 as far as most of us are concerned. What's his best fit? ESPN has some ideas that they think would fit Victor Wembanyama. Plus, we got the latest ESPN mock draft, and I want to do a couple of those today because I want to show you kind of what all of us are up against. Because from now until next Wednesday, you're going to hear a lot of things, a lot of spaghetti against the wall, if you will, and a lot of reporters that hear things and they roll with them. With the caveat that, it may or may not happen. This is one of those weird drafts that people are all over the place. And so that's why I say it that way. Our good friend Don Harris of Channel 4 had a tweet today talking about the Atlanta Hawks and what they may or may not do. And he's quoting a source that he's heard from. And Don's got some sources. He does. And so, but again, he puts that caveat on it that, well, this could happen, it might happen, or it may not happen. And we just don't know at this point in time. So we'll talk a little NBA draft. Plus Windhorst, Jonathan Giovanni. Giovanni has got some comments on what the Hawks might do. And Paul George talks Wemby as well. All of that when we return right here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
San Antonio Sports Star. It's the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
If someone said you're going to lose a testicle and you want fair restitution, what would be a fair number in your mind?
Well, my response is, how many do I have?
You
Because
had
if it's unreplaceable.
you had two, you now have one. And I don't know if they like put a ball bearing in there or something to even out the weight for you, but ball bearing. Well, yeah, I don't know what they would use exactly. Like a marble, what would they use? What's the
a little bit larger
prosthetic?
than that? But yeah, I think there is a prosthetic.
$1.5 million. I don't know that that's enough. I don't feel like that's not enough financial restitution.
No.
I think it's 5 million is the number. I think it's 5 million.
Shot and drawing with a beanbag post.
It's the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson. Morning 6 to 10 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Injuries happen, and when they do, skip the ER and get to the Ortho Now Injury Clinic by TSAOG Orthopedics and Spine. Ortho Now provides walk-in care for injuries like broken bones, dislocations, sprains, and strains. Conveniently located in the Quarry area with extended hours Monday through Saturday with on-site x-ray casting and bracing, Ortho Now has everything you need to treat your injury, and best of all, no urgent care or emergency room copay. Learn more online at tsaog.com.
Find what you love, love what you find. A Total Wine and More. There's so much waiting for you. Spirits and beer, thousands of wines.
Only at Total Wine and More. Drink responsibly. Be 21.
This is the story of the one. As head of maintenance at a concert hall, he knows the show must always go on. That's why he works behind the scenes, ensuring every light is working, the HVAC is humming, and his facility shines. With Granger's supplies and solutions for every challenge he faces, plus 24/7 customer support, his venue never misses a beat. Call quickgranger.com or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
Find what you love, love what you find. A Total Wine and More. There's so much waiting for you. Spirits and beer, thousands of wines.
Only at Total Wine and More. Drink responsibly. Be 21.
We're here with Jose Rios, attorney at the Gomez Law Firm. If you are injured in an accident vehicle, the listeners should do.
The first thing they should do is pick up the phone, call the Gomez Law Firm, or Google joegomezlaw.com.
Gomez Law has been protecting the people of our community for almost 50 years. They're the leader in personal injury law.
We do ride-sharing cases. We do carbon monoxide cases, 18-wheeler cases. Obviously, we've done those for very many years. Work injuries.
But that's not all your firm does, Jose. Tell us a little more about other cases Gomez Law takes on and wins here in Texas.
Really anything that involves a personal injury and a third party that is responsible for causing that injury, we will be happy to take a look at and see if we can help.
If you have been injured in an accident or hit by a company vehicle, then you need to visit joegomezlaw.com.
And remember, Gomez Law fights.
Philo's got a world of entertainment for you to explore with just one subscription. Sign up today and start watching all the networks you love, like A&E, MTV, Discovery, Lifetime, Hallmark Channel, and so much more. Featuring current seasons of all the best drama, true crime, reality, and family-friendly shows you can't afford to miss. And with up to 3 streams at once, you'll never have to fight about what to watch. Get started today and unlock our library of over 75,000 movies and shows, and save all your favorites with the unlimited DVR so you can rewatch them anytime, anywhere for up to a year. Philo now includes access to AMC Plus. You can discover your next obsession from its collection of hit originals like Mad Men, The Walking Dead, Killing Eve, Orphan Black, and tons of blockbuster movies. There are no contracts, no commitments, and no hassles. For just $28 a month, Philo's a better way to watch TV. So what are you waiting for? Visit philo.tv and sign up today to start your 7-day free trial. That's philo.tv.
Ready for the ultimate outdoor adventure? 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star has your chance to win a getaway to Telluride, Colorado. Your prize package includes airfare and luxurious hotel accommodations for 2, plus thrilling expeditions like fly fishing, kayaking, ATV rides, and more. And it could be all yours. Enter once per day at sasportstar.com. You must be 18 or older to play. This is an Alpha Media company-wide contest. One winner will be chosen. Complete rules at sasportstar.com. Don't miss out on the adventure of a lifetime. Enter now at sportstar.com. It's the Blitz with Jason and Joe on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Oh, yeah, it is. The Blitz right here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. It is Thursday. Hope you're having a great Thursday afternoon, everybody. Now, Pledge and I have been inside for a little while as we're preparing for the show. So I don't know, is it still raining outside? I have no clue if you're out there because we have no windows here. We're like in a cave inside the radio station, so we can't see to the outdoors.
Did it rain today?
Well, yeah, didn't it?
Not while I've been awake that I know of.
Well, it rained at some point in time, Pledge. I don't know. It's supposed to, isn't it?
I've been here since 10:30. I didn't see any rain this morning.
All right. Well, good. I hope the rain's over. I don't know how much.
Say that?
I don't have. Why? Because it's summertime. It's not supposed to rain. Does it rain in the summertime?
It's hard to do anything in the summer when all the lakes and rivers are empty.
Well, that's a good point too. But I don't think we've had enough. I played golf yesterday and got sprinkled on a couple of times. Nothing. Yeah, I mean it was fine. And I know San Antonio, we got a little more rain than I was up in the hill country. So maybe it was a little bit different. But yesterday actually was a pretty good day. It was nice and cool and all that kind of stuff. So it was good. If you had the day off, I hope you enjoyed it. If you didn't, I'm sorry about that. But I'm back, refreshed, ready. It's Thursday. It's kind of nice to come back, and it's already Thursday. The only thing I regret, Pledge, is we missed Hump Day.
Hump Day.
So we may have to say that and turn Thursday into Wednesday. Not really during the week, but just a throwback every now and then, just to even though I did, you know what's crazy, Pledge? I did say that yesterday a couple of times, just to say it, just so I could get it out. Hump Day, and it made me feel better.
Did you get it out on the course?
No, I didn't. I didn't say it out there, but I did beforehand.
I'm disappointed.
Maybe that's a good. You make a birdie or a nice shot. Is that throw? There's so many things we could turn that into. Hump Day. All right, we're getting some stuff on our YouTube channel that it is raining off and on. Lloyd D says, yes, Joe, it's raining. I'm door dashing and it's sprinkling for the most part. And our good buddy Rudolph Gonzalez, who wants to be me so bad, he says that it has rained 4 times today in Live Oak, about 5 minutes each time. So I know he wants to be me, and I appreciate that. It's a good compliment, Rudolph. Thank you, buddy. We appreciate that. Hey, we're going to be talking a lot about the NBA draft, and rightly so, because we're getting close to it. It is less than a week away. And, of course, what is going to happen with Victor Wembanyama, and how are the Spurs going to handle this thing? And I find it fascinating, and I just want to touch on it here. We may have to get into it in the next segment a little bit, because we've got some great sound from a couple of folks kind of giving us an idea. And but the mock drafts are all over the place. I mean, they literally are all over the place as to what the Spurs are going to do. If you heard SportsCenter at the top of the show, the Spurs have plans to bring in Zachary Ricochet in here tomorrow to work him out. But mock drafts have been all over the place, and things seem to be changing. Ricochet was one of those guys that could have gone number 1 to Atlanta. Some were projecting him to go number 2. Alex Sarr number 1, and then you got stuff all over the place, and it seems to change by the day. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens when we get to that point in time. The thing that I was intrigued by is a guy by the name of Jonathan Givony. Is it Givony? Givony. That's his name. Right. We've all been talking about Atlanta and what they want to do. Are they going to trade the number 1 pick, or are they going to keep it? Well, Givony has some thoughts on what he thinks Atlanta might do.
The question is, do they slide back possibly to 4? The San Antonio Spurs own their pick next year. It's unprotected. Can you get the best of both worlds? Slide down to 4, maybe get Donovan Clingan or Reza Shea, get your pick back, and, really allow yourself to possibly go into this rebuilding process by trading Trae Young down the road. They have a big decision there to make.
Yeah, they do. And we're going to go over a couple of mock drafts today because I want to just give you an idea of how they all seem to differ a little bit. So we'll start with ESPN, and ESPN has got their latest draft out today, their mock draft. And it's pretty much as consistent as I've seen several of them. With the number 1 pick, they've got the Hawks taking Ricochet. With the number 2 pick, they've got the Wizards with Alex Sarr. Reed Shepherd seems to be locked in. I mean, if there's any guy that's been consistent, it's been Reed Shepherd at number 3 to the Houston Rockets. And then they've got the Spurs taking Stephon Castle. I've heard it mentioned both ways. So I like Castle. I like the guy. And look, there's critiques to everybody, but I like Castle. And I wouldn't mind that pick at all. But I think there's some other teams now that are starting to jump on that bandwagon, if you will, unless you look at other mock drafts, and some mocks have him as low as 6. And so I really think that everybody is just throwing stuff against the wall because this draft, more so than any I can remember in a long time, just does not seem to be falling in place. It just does not. And so I don't think anybody truly can say with 100% confidence or even 95 or 90% confidence that they know what they're going to do. That any team that you know what they're going to do. We can all guess. We can all have educated guesses. We can all express our opinions and who we like and what we think that the Spurs and other teams ought to do, but we just don't know. All right, I talked a little bit too much there in that particular segment, so I want to get back into the draft if we can, and we've got some good NFL stuff to get into as well. But I want to deal with the draft, and I want your opinion on the draft and what you think. Are you excited about it? Can you see the Spurs using both of those picks? Would you like to see them trade one or both of them? Have them move up, move down? I'd really like to know. If you're on YouTube, you can comment there. Go there, like and subscribe to our page, please. You can call us at 656-ESPN, 656-3776. You can also reach out to me on Twitter at Joe Reinagle 210. What do you want the Spurs to do in next week's draft? Do you have an idea? Do you think you know what the answer is? And if you do, I'd like to hear it. Nobody's wrong. Nobody's off base. Nobody's like my brother, a little informed because nobody knows. There is not anybody out there that knows what the heck's going to happen. We'll talk more draft and some NFL football when we return here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It's the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
Friday on the Morning Huddle, we'll close out what feels like a short week. There's hockey to talk about at least.
Yeah, will there be any more to discuss? We'll figure that out and see if we got some football to talk. It's the Morning Huddle. We'll start at 6 right here on 94.1.
It's the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson. Morning 6 to 10 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. When traveling to see the Longhorns in Austin, make sure you bring along the guys from 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Listen anywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
Hey everybody, it's Rob Thompson here for Prize Picks. It is my game of fun and fantasy, and it's time for the excitement for summer sports to begin. And I say the best way to take summer sports and have the fun with it is to take it to the next level with Prize Picks, America's #1 fantasy sports app. A community of over 5 million players. If you're not a member, I promise you know one. Prize Picks, it's about more or less. It's about playing the things that you know. You can make Prize Picks a daily game, a weekly game, do whatever you like, and you can do it fast. You can turn $10 into $1,000 in just a couple of seconds by playing Prize Picks. So get ready to enjoy the fantasy games that you love with the app that is available. And here's the key right now. If you use the code ALAMO, that's Alamo, you'll get up to $100. Enter the code ALAMO at the Prize Picks app on your first deposit match of up to $100. You know the games are there. You're a fantasy player. Play them the right way. That's Prize Picks. Alamo today.
Hi, I'm attorney Steve Benke. If you've made the decision to divorce, you need an experienced attorney who can help. I've helped many people get through divorce, custody, child support, and alimony problems. Call me. I'm attorney Steve Benke.
210-DIVORCE or go to BenkeLaw.com.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textblend.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply or play stop, opt out. Go to nomoredraftywindows.com for a full offer details.
Homeowners, ready to replace your windows or patio doors, but think it's going to be too expensive? Well, think again, because with Renewal by Andersen, you can get top quality, affordable windows and patio doors for no money down, no payments, and no interest for 12 months. That's right. You don't pay a dime for an entire year. Just text LONG to 200-300 right now for your free in-home window consultation and free price quote. Upgrade your home with new energy-efficient windows and doors installed by certified master installers from Renewal by Andersen and get their best in the nation 20-year warranty. Renewal by Andersen is the company with the most 5-star reviews among leading full-service window replacement companies. Act now and get your windows and patio doors for no dollars down, no payments, and no interest for an entire year. Plus, save $359 off every window and $887 off every door. But hurry, these big dollar savings end this month. Text LONG to 200-300. Text the word LONG to 200-300. Don't wait. Text LONG to 200-300.
Did somebody say free diamond bracelet? That's right. Diamonds Direct is expanding upon their best offer yet. Make any purchase this month and receive a free diamond tennis bracelet valued at $2,000. That's right. Any engagement ring, any diamond necklace, any timepiece. Purchase any item valued at $10,000 or more and receive a stunning diamond tennis bracelet at no extra cost. Every purchase of $10,000 or more qualifies. So hurry into Diamonds Direct. Your chance to get a free tennis bracelet ends June 30th. Details at diamondsdirect.com.
The IRS deadline has come and gone. So do you owe money to the IRS? If so, you need an ally. Whether you owe the IRS $6,000 or $600,000, whether your tax problems are personal or business, the professionals at Allies Tax Relief are ready to step in and negotiate your fresh start with the IRS. Here's a happy customer of Allies Tax Relief.
Before calling Allies Tax Relief, I feared the IRS would take all of my assets. I owed them over $562,000. Thankfully, I was referred to Allies and called them for help. They ultimately saved my life from uncertainty. Allies negotiated my giant tax debt to an unbelievable $1,500. They are professionals and they fight the fight for their clients.
Allies Tax Relief will protect your assets from being furnished. Call right now for your free consultation. 800-296-0772. That's 800-296-0772. Or visit alliestaxrelief.com.
When your business needs an electrician, for over 35 years, the family-owned Hill Electric has served San Antonio. Powered by relationships with dedicated estimators who analyze the issue, research cost-effective solutions, and clearly communicate the options without charging you a dime. A proven process that allows you to continue focusing on your unique purpose. Call Hill Electric at 210-404-9074. That's 404-9074. Or hill-electric.com.
The Ace Superhero Comic Con presented by Thomas J. Henry is coming June 20th through the 23rd. Meet Star Trek's Chris Pine, Spider-Man Far From Home star Jake Gyllenhaal, Pirates of the Caribbean's Orlando Bloom, Star Wars Diego Luna, She-Hulk's Tatiana Maslany, and the Marvels Aman Vellani. Plus, the Supermen, Ghostbusters Ernie Hudson, and Arrow's Stephen Amell and David Ramsey. Get your event passes now at pmxevents.com. That's pmxevents.com. If you travel as much as the San Antonio sports guys travel, while you're on the road, be sure to take us along. Listen to the 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star live stream anywhere on the Odyssey radio app.
Hi, this is Joe Reinagel, and you're listening to the home of the Dallas Cowboys, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. I don't know who that guy is, man, but we ought to hire him. Sounds great. I am Joe Reinagel. This is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Jason Minnick's on vacation. James Pledger is not, however. He's back there with the hoodie on today. You cold back there, Pledge?
I'm always cold back here.
I guess so, man. You got the hoodie on today and got the chips going.
Delicious.
What kind of chips are they? Are those sour cream and onion?
No, it's those Chester's fries, but they're ranch flavored.
All right, ranch flavored fries. All right, pretty cool. You know what always intrigues me, and it never ceases to amaze me, is Chick-fil-A. I went to Chick-fil-A today earlier, and the line was about a mile long. Took me less than 10 minutes to get through there.
Yup.
It's incredible. You talk about people that know how to do it right. Chick-fil-A knows how to do it right. And everybody else ought to send their employees to the Chick-fil-A Institute or whatever the hell that is, because they know what they're doing. And they do it right. Hopefully the Spurs will do it right. And that's always the question because, again, I hate to throw cold water on hot things. And I know there's some people that are excited about the draft, some that aren't. Joshua Jimenez says he has no excitement for the draft. He says there's something wrong with this organization. We were all excited about a generational talent last year and got 22 wins. And Joshua, it's hard to disagree with you there, buddy. Nobody expected the Spurs to only win 22 games last year. I don't think anybody expected that, including Greg Popovich, as a matter of fact. But that's why I think some changes are needed, and it's going to be interesting to see what they do and how those changes come about, whether the Spurs use both of their draft picks at 4 and 8, if they trade one or both away to either move up in the draft or get some veteran talent in this place. So it's going to be fun next week to watch all of that play out and see how things go. I told you about the latest mock from ESPN before we went to the break. It had the Spurs taking Stephen Castle from UConn at number 1. Again, a young guy. He's got tons of promise, tons of ability. Obviously, the guy is a very talented individual, but he is young, and he is coming to the NBA. And I can say that about all the guys that are in the top 5, top 10, with the exception of Connect. Maybe the kid out of Tennessee, he may be the most day one ready to start. But again, we're just speculating because that's what we do, and that's what we need to do. But again, you just never can tell. I found it very fascinating, though, that Brian Windhorst, who I disagreed with vehemently when he basically wanted to throw Luka Doncic in the garbage can after Game 3 and the escapades of that, I still have a lot of respect for the guy. And look, he followed LeBron when he was first starting in the league, and now it is Victor Wembanyama. And you gotta hand it to the guy. At least he rides the coattails of the best. He did it with LeBron. It kind of helped Wendy with his career. Now he's doing it with Victor Wembanyama, and it's going to continue his career. But he was talking, and he gave us a little bit of insight. And I think we've heard something similar to this, but I want to drive it home because I think in this case, Wendy is right.
Yeah, so I think Victor Wembanyama has an expectation that the Spurs are going to improve quickly. I think the question they have to weigh, obviously this is another French prospect, is paying that kind of price for a player who's not viewed as a franchise player.
You're talking about Risa Shea.
I mean, number 1 pick, you're hoping for a guy like a franchise player like Wembanyama. This draft just isn't as deep. Paying that kind of price for a player who may not be a franchise player, who may at his best be what, Jonathan, your 3rd or 4th best player. I think weighing that is one of the things that the Spurs have to judge, going into this process.
Yeah, the Spurs are going to have to, but please just do me a favor. I want you to just play the first part of that bite.
Yeah, so I think Victor Wembanyama has an expectation that the Spurs are going to improve quickly.
Boom, right there. Of course he does. Who will not? Oh, well, sure, Pop, Brian, RC. Let's just take your time. 5 years, doesn't matter. 6 years, I'm going to be okay. Of course he wants them to improve quickly. And I don't blame him. He was miserable last year. I mean, let's face it, the guy's got a great disposition. There's no question about it. But how many times there toward the end did he say he did not want to be a part of NBA history in the way that he was going to be on the worst franchise record-wise in the history of the NBA? Didn't want that to happen. Didn't happen, came close. They managed to squeak out 22 wins. Victor Wembanyama is a competitor, and he wants to win now. This whole, let's just draft some guys and let them work their way in, and they'll all grow together. Go sing Kumbaya somewhere, will you? Because that's not going to happen, and that's not the way it is in professional sports. You got to start the rebuild, and you got to be aggressive with it. I'm not saying mortgaging the future, because I know everybody's going to tell me, but Joe, what about 2025? That's when the good draft is going to be. Is it? Sorry, I got a little choked up. Again, we don't know that. We got a lot of water under the bridge. Before that happens, Pledge.
Look, 2025, I understand, because you just don't know. You don't know what you don't know. That's kind of Joe's go-to. But at the same time, Cooper Flag and a bunch of prospects that are very, very highly considered, the same way that Wemby was, and that worked out. You got to understand that, like, people are their job is to be able to project these players and allow them to understand what they could and could not become. And the fact that this draft is very under-heralded, but the next one or two are very highly regarded, should tell you a lot about the prospects that are coming down the pipe, and not wanting to give up Atlanta's number one when they hold the number one this year and are possibly looking to rebuild, and putting yourself in position to have a bunch of swings next year. I get that. It's this year. I didn't want Toronto's pick to convey this year. I didn't, because this isn't the draft you want that pick. You want in the future, because from what we're told, that's the one that's going to matter. Just like we were told the Victor Wembanyama sweepstakes are the one you want to be in.
Well,
and
that
one,
right. That one, yeah, they were right. They were right, of course. But I mean, that's like a duh. I mean, you had Victor Wembanyama. Is there anybody in next year's draft that is a Victor Wembanyama? No, is the answer to that.
No, but there are a lot of really, really good prospects that people would love to see in this year's draft, like a Cooper Flag, like Ace Bailey. Like there are, I believe, Carlos Boozer's kids coming out next year.
I can sit here and say, well, we just don't know, and we don't. Nobody knows. We can speculate all we want to. We really can. And in 2025, yeah, but Spurs are still going to have plenty of assets. Nobody's calling for the Spurs to trade away everything that they have this year. Nobody's calling for that. But I just, for me to wait on something that might happen is just ludicrous to me. I mean, it really is. And you sit here and wait and say, well, we're going to just take it easy and not do anything because it's next year's draft that we want to do. And then what happens when Flag is a bust or doesn't quite live up to the expectations? And then what? Then you're screwed.
Okay. But what happens if you use all those assets to trade up for Ricochet because he's friends with Victor Wembanyama?
I don't want to do that.
And he ends up being okay at best.
I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. You know me. If you've listened to the show at any point in time, I want the Spurs to go out and get some guys that have already been in this league, that have some experience and can kickstart this thing. Look, nobody is calling for the Spurs to win a championship next year. That's not going to happen. But I don't see why there's any reason why this rebuild, and even if the guys you're talking about are they're not going to be day one right out of the gate good. They're not. So you wait and just kind of tread water this year. And then you get a great pick next year. And then guess what? You're going to have to wait for that guy. So you're looking at at least 3-year rebuild. At least. If that's the road we're going to go down. And I just don't think that is necessary. I really don't think that that's necessary. Again, not looking for them to trade all their assets away this year, but they got a bunch. And I think they can certainly use some, and I think it can start with this year's draft. Look, if this year's draft is no good, get rid of the picks. Just trade them away. The heck with them. Everybody says this draft sucks. Nobody's in there. Well, then get rid of the picks then. Why draft anybody?
Why not?
Why not?
trade him away?
Okay.
But at the same time, you look at the landscape of the NBA, there's not a lot of great free agents.
No.
And the teams that try to run up the steps have fallen on their face a lot. You look at the Phoenix Suns. You look at when the Brooklyn Nets traded for Paul Pierce and KG. It set up the Celtics for this run that they're on right now, to where they've been to Eastern Conference Finals and NBA Finals and now have a championship to show for it. That's all because they held on to the picks that they got from Brooklyn that acquired them what they have. Same goes for Oklahoma City. They're in the position they're in now because they held on and used a bunch of the picks that they got.
Okay. And fair enough. But they went out and did what they had to do to get better. They needed two pieces to get over that hump, and they went out and got them. Right? Drew Holiday and Porzingis. They went out and got those guys. They traded for a Derek White. So there are veterans out there to be had. What I'm saying, and I don't think we're that far off, Pledge, to be honest with you.
No.
I really don't. Use those assets to bring in some assets, as the Boston Celtics did, to build around the players that you are developing, the players that you brought in and you drafted, and to get better. I just think it takes both. Nobody can tell me, nobody, and I'm not going to listen to you if you do. You can't tell me that drafting and developing in the NBA is the way to go. It's not. Nobody's doing that. Oklahoma City may be the team that is the closest to that, but even then, they went out, found a prospect who's turned out to be better than anybody thought. Don't you wish Dallas would wish they still had Jalen Brunson? That would have helped against Boston, but they didn't. And so I just say it's a combination of both. It is a combination of both, and I just think that waiting for a so-called great draft is not necessarily the only answer. You got a lot of draft picks. I'm not saying give Atlanta all their draft picks back. Don't. But you've got a lot of capital to use, and I think they need to use it beginning this year. That's what I'd like to see happen.
To see it happen, but at the same time, if the price is too expensive, I'm not giving them away and overpaying for something, because that's a fool's errand.
Dude, I'm with you. I said the same thing about Trae Young. I'm not giving Atlanta all their picks back for that guy, even though I think he'd be great here. I don't want to do that. It's way too expensive for me in that respect.
So I think, when Brian Wright said selective aggression, I think he's really right there between us in terms of, yeah, we're going to attempt to do some things that are going to make us better. But if the price isn't right, we're not going to mortgage the future to try and get something now, especially when we're not one piece away. That's a different conversation when you're a Drew Holiday or a Kristaps Porzingis away from winning a title. When you're, 8 pieces away from that, it's hard to overextend yourself to get to that level and still have enough to make the moves necessary later when you are that close.
Nobody is advocating or saying that the Spurs are going to be a championship team. They're just a piece or two away this year. I'm saying build. I'm just saying not all through the draft. That's all I'm saying. Is through the draft only is going to take too much time. And again, let me be the reminder. You just heard Windhorse. Wemby's expectations in his mind are a quicker rebuild. That's coming from Windhorse. I have not heard that from Victor Wembanyama, but I'm hearing it from Wendy, who does talk to Victor Wembanyama. So I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt when it comes to that. Wemby doesn't want to wait. He doesn't. He wants to see some progress. And drafting a couple of guys that are going to take some time to get their feet wet at best before they kick into high gear, I don't think is the way to go completely. I think you got to see some things. And again, let me be the bearer of bad news. Just because Victor Wembanyama is here doesn't mean he's going to be here forever. It doesn't. We almost lost Tim Duncan, if people with short memories remember. And it was very close to losing Tim Duncan. Wemby wants to win. He wants to win. What do we got here? Kingsley on the phone lines, the old-fashioned way, Pledge. Kingsley, what's going on? What do you think?
What's going on, Joe? I think a lot of stuff, but I'm gonna give, even though you're old as dirt, I'm gonna give you some advice about the old bull and the young bull. You're like that young bull. You want to run down that hill and have your way with all the cows. Well, the old bull says, why don't we take our time, walk down the hill, and have our way with all the cows, not just one cow. We need to take our time. That's why we're 20 years great experience and depth in the San Antonio organization. Always been great because we took our damn time. So don't just try to have your way with one cow, Joe. Take your time. We'll have our way with all the cows.
Kingsley, before you hang up, let me ask you a question.
All right.
Spurs should have won an NBA championship. What was it, 95, 96?
Should have?
Should have, right? And it's when the Houston Rockets, Akeem Olajuwon schooled David Robinson.
Right.
So they should have won this. So they were pretty good in the mid-90s, weren't they?
They were good.
Not bad. They had one bad year, if I recall, when David Robinson got hurt and Greg Popovich fired Bob Hill and took over, and they drafted Tim Duncan.
Right.
Are we on the same page?
We're tracking.
Okay, good. I just want to make sure we're on the same page. So Tim Duncan came into a team that was ready-made with David Robinson and with a lot of veteran players. Am I right?
You're correct.
Okay. And then they drafted a couple of guys, and Tony Parker and Manu Ginobili, that became great players with some veteran players around them. Are we on the same page still?
Oh, yeah, we're tracking.
Okay, I love you, Kingsley, but you don't have to go slow. You don't. Now Duncan I wish Wemby would have come into a team like that. He didn't. They've got to build that team now. And I think you can start this year and get that done. The Spurs haven't been a horrible basketball team in a while until, obviously, number 2 screwed us and threw a bomb in the middle of everything and blew this team up. They have had a good team for a long time. Just go back in history a little bit. Go back. Basketball. And it doesn't have to suck for the next 3, 4, 5 years to prove to everybody that we don't have to go fast. It's not necessary. Greg Popovich tried to keep this thing going. It didn't work. So now you knock it down and build it back up. You got lucky with Wemby. Put some players around him and let's go. All right. I feel better. Thank Pledge. Pledge is the pro. I just want to let you know, man. I had a little tickle in my throat, and Pledge held down the fort. I appreciate you, Pledge. That was awesome. You know what you're saying. You're polluting the ears of the listeners today. Kingsley, I love you, man. Thanks for the phone call. I get where you're coming from, but I just don't think it's necessary to go slow. I want all the cows, every single one of them right now. I may be able to handle all of them right now, but, it'll take a little time, just not that much. All right, we're going to take a break. And when we come back, Charlie Woods is picking up where his dad left off, and LeBron James' agent said something that just it leaves you scratching your head. We'll talk about that and a whole lot more when we come back here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Taking you home with the Blitz. Afternoons 2 to 6, KTFM Floresville, and everywhere at sasportstar.com.
Basketball playoffs start this weekend. Big fight happening on Saturday night. You know the best place to go watch anything is the Roo Pub there at 281 in Redland Road. They've proven over the last decade with those 3 massive 170-inch screens, TVs all around, that is the place to go watch any big game, any big event. And when you get into the Roo Pub, go hungry. The food, fantastic. I love the fried shrimp over there. They've got the biggest and best wings in town. About 15 different burgers on the menu, including the original Wemby burger. They've got great appetizers, salads, and that kitchen is open late till 2 a.m. every day with the full menu available. The Roo Pub does have happy hour weekdays from 11 to 6. Great for lunch, great for dinner, great for late at night, and the best place to watch a game. Just down from the Big Blind, the Roo Pub next to the Angry Elephant, 281 in Redland Road. We'll see you at the Roo.
Some people just know the best rate for you is a rate based on you with Allstate. And look at you, hands perfectly placed on the wheel, not like the driver to the right of you who's really going after that drum solo. Save with DriveWise in the Allstate app and only pay a rate based on you.
Not available in every state, subject to terms and conditions. Rating factors and savings vary, and in some states your rate could increase with high-risk driving. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Every business faces challenges, but complicated, expensive, and uncertain shipping shouldn't be one of them.
With USPS Ground Advantage from the United States Postal Service, you can avoid all the noise. No more unexpected surcharges, hidden fees, or complex rate structures. It's just easy, cost-effective, and dependable shipping. Tune your business's frequency to success and turn shipping to your advantage. Learn how at USPS.com/advantage. USPS Ground Advantage. Simple, affordable, reliable.
If you get arrested, get out of jail fast by calling AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121. Text bail to 474747 or online mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else. Don't be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you one, make sure you understand the conditions before accepting it. AA Best Bail Bonds. Nobody beats their price. They have payment plans. Call 210-225-2121 or mybestbailbonds.com.
License number 149.
Our daughter Jessie loves playing detective.
A clue.
But since we discovered she has sensitive skin, we've been playing detective too.
We thought the problem was our puppy.
But it was actually our old detergent.
Aha.
So we switched to Tide Free and Gentle. Tide cleans better than the leading competitive free detergent, and it doesn't leave behind irritating residues.
Plus, Tide Free and Gentle has no dyes or perfumes, so it's gentle on her skin.
Case closed.
If it's got to be clean, it's got to be Tide Free and Gentle.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer, he hears things differently. To the untrained ear, everything on his shop floor might sound fine, but he can hear gears grinding or a belt slipping. So he steps in to fix the problem at hand before it gets out of hand. And he knows Grainger's got the right product he needs to get the job done, which is music to his ears. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Living in Texas, a water softener is almost a requirement. The water is hard. You know this. It affects your appliances and all of that kind of stuff. And the best water softener to buy is a Connecticut quality water softener. Connecticut's been serving San Antonio for over 50 years. They're made in America, up to 80% more efficient than competing models. Got a simple design, fewer moving parts, and the best thing about it is there's nothing to plug in. There won't be an increase in your electric bill. Connecticut quality water softeners are the best in the business, and right now they have got the best deal for you. Connecticut is going to let you try a quality water softener in your home for 90 days, absolutely free with no contract. Call them today. 656-PURE. That's 656-7873 or ConnecticutSA.com. You know the jingle. Sing it with me. Connecticut, the last water softener you'll ever own. Call 656-PURE. Connecticut.
San Antonio's Sports Star. San Antonio's Sports Center.
We are less than a week away from the NBA draft, and Spurs rumors have picked up. According to reports, San Antonio will work out French prospect Zachary Richeche. He will reportedly work out tomorrow. He also has scheduled workouts with the Hawks and the Wizards. Training camp dates have been released as well. We're under a month away from the start of the NFL. Houston begins in Houston on July 17th. Cowboys, July 24th.
Joe Reinagel.
That's the third time in 7 seasons. The San Antonio Spurs are the NBA champions.
Jason Minix.
They go back to big day as Super Bowl champions. Dallas 52, Buffalo 17.
It's the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Happy Thursday, everybody. That feels kind of like a Monday in a way, or at least a Tuesday. Something like that, but I'm glad it's Thursday, and I'm happy that you are joining us and spending part of your day with us here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Hope your day's going well. You're staying wet and being careful out there. A lot of rain, man. Is it officially summer today? Is today officially summer?
Today is officially the first day of summer.
Okay, today is officially the first day of summer. Happy summer, everybody. It doesn't feel a lot like summer out there, though, does it? It's that's wet, kind of cool. Yesterday was a little bit cooler than a normal June 19th would be here in San Antonio and South Texas. So I hope you all had a good time with that. I find it funny, Pledge. We were talking about the Spurs draft last segment, and Kingsley, with a great phone call, said, I wanted all the cows. Well, we're getting a lot of cow jokes now on our YouTube page. We appreciate that. So, and then Hail Caesar says, let me make sure I can read this. Says, Joe's the type of dude to blow on his coffee with his pinky out when drinking it. Yeah, and? I don't understand. Is something wrong with that? Does nobody else drink their coffee with their pinky out? Or is that just me? Or, I don't know, do you not blow on your coffee when it's hot?
I do with certain drinks.
Yeah.
Have my pinky out. It's natural.
You can't help it.
I can't.
You can't. So I don't know. I'm not sure there's anything wrong with that.
Like
so
I get an old fashioned.
Hell Caesar, I'm good. I'll do that too with just a regular drink. I mean, it's just kind of out there. I don't know. Is that some kind of
well, it's a hoity-toity thing to
Mr.
do.
Howell kind of thing from Gilligan's Island?
A little bit, yeah.
All right, yeah. Boy, we got a lot to get into. I was not expecting to get this feisty today, but I have, and I love it because it just gets the blood flowing a little bit. And I'm excited about the 5 o'clock hour, by the way. John McClain is going to join us from HoustonTexans.com. A lot to talk to John McClain about, as there always is, because he knows a little bit about everything. And then our good friend Antonio Daniels, former Spur Antonio Daniels, now broadcaster for the New Orleans Pelicans. And can't wait to get him on. He's got a camp coming up, I know, next month. But we're going to talk a little bit of the NBA with him, especially the Spurs and the draft and how he sees things shaking out and what he would like to see the Spurs do. I'm going to put the GM hat on AD and see what he has to say and what kind of things he would come up with to fit around a guy like Victor Wembanyama. But first, at this time of day, we do a little something called the Headline Blitz.
This is Jason and Joe. Two guys, two opinions, never enough time.
Yeah, never enough time, but some good stories in the Headline Blitz today. One of those revolves around Charlie Woods, the son of one Tiger Woods. And as Tiger's career seems to be coming to an end, Charlie's is about to pick up, and I think will carry on. Now, look, I'm not going to say Charlie's ever going to be as good as his father, but he certainly is pretty good. And the news today was that Charlie has qualified for first U.S. Junior Amateur, which his father won 3 times, by the way. So Charlie's going to tee it up in Oakland Hills next month. That's in Michigan, hoping to continue following in his dad's footsteps. If I'm not mistaken, Oakland Hills has been used as a U.S. Open site, a PGA Championship site. It's not an easy golf course, but it's a pretty one. So Charlie Woods is going to try and start the process of following in his father's footsteps as he's qualified for his first U.S. Junior Amateur. So good luck to Charlie as he continues on that journey. LeBron James. I love LeBron James. A lot of respect for LeBron. His agent is claiming. Now get this. The story that we have been told is that LeBron wants to play with Bronny. That's what he wants to do. And, it's pretty much what would end his career. The cherry on top of a Hall of Fame career for LeBron James would be able to play on the same team as his son, Bronny. LeBron James's agent, by the way, LeBron is a free agent, or it's a player option, I should say. Sure if he's declared that just yet, but I'm sure he will. If nothing else, he gets a new deal. His agent is claiming that he could ditch the Lakers even if the Lakers draft Bronny. Now, I'm confused. That has got to be a ploy, doesn't it? A bargaining chip that, yeah, even if you guys draft Bronny, doesn't mean I'm going to stick around here in L.A. Now, wouldn't that be a kick in the package?
Well, also seeing as they just hired his podcast buddy, JJ Redick, to be their head coach, that would also be kind of a kick to the tools.
Yeah, it sure would. If you haven't heard that, JJ Redick official now signed a 4-year deal, $8 million per. So way below what the Lakers offered Dan Hurley. But for JJ Redick, I guess it doesn't matter, and we'll see how he does. But that was the breaking news this afternoon, that he has been hired as the Lakers head coach. But I find that fascinating. And it's pretty typical for LeBron, isn't it? I mean, it really is. The guy, I'm going to take my talents to Miami, or I'm going to do this and that. And look, he's a great basketball player. Don't get me wrong. He's going to go down as one of the best to ever play the game. No question about that. A lot of respect. It's just some of the other stuff that is kind of silly and foolish. And, you know, it's funny how we all got after Luka for crying to the officials, but LeBron gets away with it.
See, this is nothing more, I think, than just LeBron posturing and making a ploy at his new contract from the Lakers, because he's going to opt out. That way he can maximize the amount that he gets. But at the same time, it is just a negotiating tactic.
You know, and I get where you're coming from, but I don't think LeBron has to negotiate. Does he? What's he making? $50 million this year?
I think it's 35.
No, I think it's upwards of 50. I really do. Look that up, Pledge. But I think it's 50 plus, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, the guy is making a boatload of money. So I'm not sure that LeBron needs to negotiate anything. I think if LeBron wants to stay there, the Lakers are going to pay him whatever he wants, because they basically turned their franchise over to him. I mean, let's be honest. So I think that he can command whatever he wants when it comes to that and the Lakers. So I'm not sure it's a negotiating tool, but I just find that fascinating, and why he would do that. I just think LeBron likes to be in the media. There's nothing wrong with that. And he likes to have his name out there. He still wants to be relevant. What's going to be interesting, and what I think the difference between LeBron and, say, a Tiger Woods is, Tiger, I think, is content to kind of be, you know, right off into the sunset. I'm not sure LeBron will be. I could be I could be wrong, but I think that's kind of how I feel about it. Like, hey, Dad, weren't we supposed to play in the same team? And now we may not. Maybe he just wants to kick his son's butt, play against him for a couple of years. We'll have to see how that plays out.
It's 51.
It is 51. Okay, 51 million. And it is a player option. He has not declined that offer, has he?
It was 47 this past season.
So it will be 51. That's what he'll decline, most likely, because I think he wants one more contract, whether it's going to be with the Lakers or somebody else. And I think that will be the end of LeBron, however long that contract plays out. Give LeBron credit, and he's good for us old guys, because he's still playing at a high level. There's no doubt about it. He's playing at a very high level. But even for LeBron, I think, and maybe we expect too much, or maybe I expect too much, he's not the same guy that he was. I mean, he's just not. So I don't know. Hey, Pledge, you're trying out to go to the Olympics.
Okay.
You make the team. You're celebrating, and then you hurt yourself. That'd be a kick in the package, wouldn't it?
Like while I'm celebrating?
While you're celebrating, yes.
Oh, that sounds awful.
What happened?
It also sounds like something I'd do. But...
Well, what happened to a French swimmer? Dislocated his shoulder while celebrating qualifying at the Olympic trials. Made the team. Made the French swim team. Was celebrating, and he dislocated his shoulder, and he's out. Although maybe out, maybe not. He may be back. He's questionable, to use an American sports term. He's questionable for the Olympics, so he's not quite out yet, but he might be. But I thought that was kind of funny. You're celebrating, and because we all celebrate. When you celebrate, you're like, you don't think about the consequences at that time. I mean, you're celebrating, you're happy. I made it. All that hard work paid off, and then ouch, then that happens. So we'll have to check in on the French swimmer to see if indeed he makes it into the Olympics for the Paris.
It's
team.
kind of a tale as old as time, if you will. I mean, Martin Gramatica very famously blew out his knees celebrating a kick.
That's right.
Gus Barat sprained
Yeah,
his neck celebrating after running into the end zone and banging his head into the wall. I mean, it's happened a lot in sports.
It's happened, and I get it. And especially when you're a guy like this. Now, if you're an NFL player and you've done something you've never done before and you want to celebrate, that's great. Who was it? It's still Tyreek Hill, right, that does backflips?
Oh, yeah.
And there's been others that have done backflips, which can't make the coach happy when he sees them do that because they never know what you could do. You turn an ankle or whatever the case may be. You know, Pledge, I love casinos. I love to gamble.
No, say it ain't so, Joe.
I know you've never heard that before or seen it, but I've never freaked out in a casino. There was a man who flipped out in a casino. Now, this guy obviously wasn't doing very well. It was a dice table, as a matter of fact. And the guy jumped up on the dice table and laid down in the middle of it. Now, I'm old enough to remember old school Vegas. All right. And when I say old school, back in the 80s, you'd go there, and if there was any kind of sign of trouble, anything happening, you were taken out of there by about 6 dudes that were bigger than the Hulk, and you were gone and thrown in the old hooskow. Right? So, but this guy,
what?
The hooskow. You never heard that term, Pledge? This guy was just allowed to lay there. And I think it's the times we live in now that this guy was just allowed to lay there, I guess, throw his temper tantrum. I'm sure he got thrown in jail. I mean, my goodness. And if you were at this table, the chips were scattered all over the place. I don't know they're going to have to figure out what belongs to who. And
well, he started throwing some too.
Yeah. I mean, it was just, it wasn't a very big guy. Now, I don't want to say he was a small person, but he wasn't much bigger than a small person. So he fit in that table very nicely is what I'm trying to say. But I'm sure that guy spent a night in jail or so, and they may have, when you're taking him out, he might have had a punch to the gut or two.
Well, back in the day, the dealer just would have pulled a cattle prod from under the table.
And, well, that too. Like Hulk would have come over there and dragged him out of there, probably beating the hell out of him while they were doing it. But
in a windowless room.
Yeah, if you get a chance to see this, it's all over the place, but there is video of this said temper tantrum floating around the internets, and you can see that. And it's really fascinating stuff. So if you get a chance to see it, you should see it. It's worth the view. It is. All right, we heard, if you were with us, Sports Center, training camp locations have been announced. Dates, that is, not necessarily locations, but the dates, when they're going to start, and all that kind of stuff. We'll run that down for you, especially for when it concerns the Texans and the Cowboys. And Travis Kelce was asked his opinion. Remember last week we told you about the story that the Chiefs got their Super Bowl rings, and there was a misprint underneath the rings that had the Miami Dolphins as the 7th seed and not the 6th seed. Well, Travis Kelce was asked about that on his New Heights podcast, and his answer, that might surprise you. We'll hear from Travis. We'll talk NFL when we return here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. First, though, I got to tell you about the Big Blind. If you got any plans tonight is a great night to head out to the Big Blind because they have High Hands Thursdays, and they do it on Tuesdays as well. But tonight is a good night to go out there because you can win some extra cash when you get out to the Big Blinds. It is just an amazing thing to see. It's actually High Hands Escalator. Let me make sure I get that right. Begins at 7 o'clock tonight and goes until midnight. They do it every Tuesday and Thursday. And basically what it is every hour, the high hand of that hour will get paid. And it goes up steadily each and every hour. You can win a lot of money out there at the Big Blind. You can do that as well. And look, even if you don't win money, you're going to have a great time. They've got a great bar out there. You can get dinner out there. It all served directly to your table. There's TVs all over the place. And this place is schwanky. let me tell you something. It is an upscale environment, to say the least. It looks like you're walking into Vegas as soon as you walk through the door. It is a great place. It's from the owners of the Roo Pub and the Angry Elephant, so it is locally owned, and it's just a great place to go. If you haven't been there, why not? If you have, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And look, you don't have to be an expert to go in there and have a good time. If you're just getting started playing poker, that's fine. They've got a table for you with players just like you. You can also play blackjack. They have blackjack tournaments beginning Wednesday nights through the weekend. So head on over to the Big Blind. You won't be sorry. I guarantee it. You know where it is. It's right down from the Roo Pub and the Angry Elephant, right there at 281 and Redland Road.
94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds, which could be life-changing. I mean, you could put that money towards that zero-turn lawnmower you've always wanted. And after using its edge-shaping technology to meticulously sculpt the face of the Mona Lisa into your grass, you'll become the undisputed king of Saturday morning lawn care, leaving your neighbor and sworn enemy Gary to question his place in the delicate neighborhood ecosystem. And it's all because you could save money switching at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates, not available in all states.
Stop by Sherwin-Williams and get 30% off Super Paint products and Super Deck stains from June 14th through the 24th. It's the perfect time to transform your space with color. Whether you're looking to revamp your bedroom, living room, or home office, we have you covered with bold hues, soothing neutrals, and everything in between. Shop the sale online or visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
George gets justice. If you've been injured, get George, because George gets justice. With over 100 years of combined experience and a relentless dedication to your case, the attorneys at George Salinas Injury Lawyers will fight for what's right. If you've been injured and it's not your fault, get George and get the compensation you deserve. Call George Salinas Injury Lawyers today at 210-225-0909 or visit getgeorge.com. George gets justice. Getgeorge.com.
The IRS deadline has come and gone. So do you owe money to the IRS? If so, you need an ally. Whether you owe the IRS $6,000 or $600,000, whether your tax problems are personal or business, the professionals at Allies Tax Relief are ready to step in and negotiate your fresh start with the IRS. Here's a happy customer of Allies Tax Relief.
Before calling Allies Tax all of my assets, I owed them over $562,000. Thankfully, I was referred to Allies and called them for help. They ultimately saved my life from uncertainty. Allies negotiated my giant tax debt to an unbelievable $1,500. They are professionals and they fight the fight for their clients.
Allies Tax Relief will protect your assets from being seized and your paycheck from being garnished. Call right now for your free consultation. 800-296-0772. That's 800-296-0772. Or visit AlliesTaxRelief.com.
Maybe it's time to ask your checking account, what have you done for me lately? My Advantage Checking from Generations Federal Credit Union does more. My Advantage Checking pays you 2 days early, plus shopping rewards, identity protection, and much more. My Advantage Checking treats you right, so make the switch. Learn more at Generations Federal Credit Union. Member owned, community grown. Member eligibility requirements apply. For complete terms and conditions, visit mygenfcu.org. Federally insured by NCUA.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles, with an auto warranty about to expire, or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost, month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-467-0842 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-467-0842. That's 800-467-0842. What do you have to lose? Call 800-467-0842. Again, 800-467-0842.
This is the home of the Aggies, and this is Andrew Monaco. You're locked on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Would somebody please fire me? Wait a minute, who was that guy? Would somebody please fire me? What Pledge left off there was there and give me $65 million. You can fire me all day for $65 million. That's what happened to Monte Williams yesterday. The Detroit Pistons fired him after 1 year, but he still had $65 million remaining on his contract. So Monte's sitting pretty today, even though he doesn't have a job. Don't feel too bad for Monte. One of the good guys in professional sports, there's no doubt about it, Monte Williams. And if he wants a job, I don't think he'll have any problem finding a job. Hey, this is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. I'm Joe Reinagle. Jason Minix is on vacation. James Pledger is pushing the buttons and running things there in the glass box of fun. So, and thank you for joining us because we appreciate it very much. Had a lot of good comments on the YouTube channel today. If you haven't been to the YouTube channel, get on over there and check that out. There's a little community over there on YouTube. The people, they come on. What I love about it, Pledge, they come on, they say hello to each other. How's your day? How are things going? And it's kind of a nice little community in YouTube.
Oh, yeah. And that's one of the great aspects of streaming is the online communities, the people within the chat that can kind of hold their own conversations with themselves. And we're privy to those conversations sometimes, so they can talk amongst each other just as easily as they talk with us.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And they do that, and we appreciate it. You can join that community. Head on over there, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We'd appreciate that. But if you're not over there, if you're on Twitter, you can reach me at Joe Reinagle 210, or you can do it the old-fashioned way and just give us a call. Right here, 656-ESPN, 656-3776. You can do that as well. Hey, we got some tickets to give away, don't we, Pledge?
You do. You got a couple of sets.
And I kind of blew by a little one of them, didn't I?
Yeah, we can give them away later.
All right. You want to do it right now?
We can do one now, yeah.
Why don't we do it now? We got a family 4-pack of tickets to see the Missions at Wolf Stadium take on the Midland Rockhounds. I guess it's next Tuesday, June 25th. San Antonio Missions, AARP, $2 Tuesday, presented by us, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. You get $2 tickets, $2 domestic beer, sausage wraps, cheese pizza, or sweet tea. But if you win the tickets, you're at least going to get in the stadium for, well, I don't know, say caller number 7. All right? Caller number 7 is 656-ESPN, 656-3776. You will get a 4-pack of tickets to go see the Missions and the Midland Rockhounds next Tuesday, June the 25th. Good luck to you on winning those tickets. Boy, I tell you what, it's interesting that the NFL is right around the corner. When the calendar turns July, we just have a little ways to go before the NFL season is underway. And I don't know about y'all, I'm thrilled about that. Thrilled about that. I can't wait for football season, and it all starts with NFL training camps. And today, the NFL announced dates for all the teams as they get set to set up training camp. The Cowboys will open up training camp in Oxnard. They're back out in Oxnard. Probably will never leave there. I wouldn't doubt them if they did. If they did never leave. That's what I'm trying to say. They open up on July 24th. All right, so we are going out to Oxnard as we always do. We fly out there on the 28th, and we will begin our shows in the morning and the afternoon. The Morning Huddle and the Blitz will be live from Oxnard all that week, beginning on the 29th of July. So keep that in mind. We'll be out there, and, of course, you know how it works. We bring you all the interviews, everything you need to know about the Dallas Cowboys, what they're doing, and how they're going to do things. So, and I might even discover another player. You just never know. So keep that in mind. That's always a perk of listening to us at training camp. But again, keep that in mind. July 29th is when we will be live, Morning Huddle that morning, and then, of course, the Blitz, and we'll be live all week long in Oxnard at Cowboys training camp. Houston Texans, meanwhile, they get things started a little bit earlier than the Cowboys. They will start on July 17th. They do that because they're playing in the Hall of Fame game. So interesting. So the Texans get to start training camp a week early. And so that's the reason why. But they'll get things started. They don't leave Houston. They will stay there. They train at the Houston Methodist Training Center. And I think it's right there by the stadium, if I'm not mistaken. Pledge is giving me a thumbs up as he's talking on the phone. So if you want to go see the Texans, it's hot out there. That's the only thing I'm going to say. And we're going to talk to John McClain about that. He's always complaining about the heat, but the Texans get started a little bit earlier because their preseason kicks off just a little bit earlier. So good for the Texans. So basically you're looking at what? 3 weeks, 4 weeks, maybe tops, a little less than 4 weeks before the NFL season starts. That is cool. And I'm ready for it. I am ready for it. The other thing that's happening, and we told you this story last week, the Kansas City Chiefs got their Super Bowl rings, and they were beautiful rings. But on the underside of the ring, they had engraved all the teams that the Kansas City Chiefs beat to get to the Super Bowl, and one of those teams were the Miami Dolphins. Well, as they put the name of the team there, they also put what seed they were in the playoffs. Well, they put the number 7 next to the Miami Dolphins. That was wrong because they were really the number 6 seed. Well, the Kelsey brothers are still doing their podcast, the New Heights podcast. And on that podcast, well, the older brother, the older Kelsey, asked Travis what he thought about that mistake.
One major little goof on the ring. Miami is listed as the 7 seed because it has you all of the games you guys had to win to get there. Miami was actually the 6 seed. I guess that's just the way the ring is. Like, nobody's going to – are you going to get it fixed?
I don't give a shit.
Does anybody care?
I like it that we didn't give a about what seed Miami was in. Yeah, they were the 7th. Who cares? They could have done no seeds on the side of them. I would have been fine.
That's my thing. Yeah,
I think it makes it more unique. Like, oh yeah, and we made it really detailed, and oops, we screwed up. This makes it more exclusive. Like, it was something we screwed up about something that means nothing.
Hey, we said that, didn't we? Who cares? Only one that would care would be the Miami Dolphins. What do they care what they're listed as on the back of the Kansas City Chiefs Super Bowl ring? So I don't think it makes any difference. And I love Travis Kelce's honesty there. It's like, who cares? But I think, I don't know, did you guys hear maybe a little shot? Just a little bit of a shot at Miami? I don't know. I kind of caught that, or I'm going to play it that way, and I hope it is. And when they face each other again, maybe somebody will remember that. Remember when Travis Kelce said we were the 7th seed?
I don't know. I would have gotten even more petty with it. I would have put ice in the Miami just to remind them how icy cold it was that day.
That was ridiculous. I don't know how in the world anybody played football in that weather. But you know, what's funny about that, Pledge, is that while those guys were cold, the technology that they have now, they had to be much warmer than the Green Bay Packers and the Dallas Cowboys in the Ice Bowl back in the 60s. I can't even imagine. I grew up watching the Minnesota Vikings play outdoors and playing in the stuff that they had to play in. Don't let anybody tell you that football players aren't tough. At least they certainly were, and they are. Because when you see the Chiefs and the Dolphins do what they did and play in that stuff, I can't even imagine that. It is just nuts.
I imagine every hit, like when the impact just felt like hitting a brick wall.
Dude, it had to be miserable. It had to be miserable. And I don't know how they did any of it. What's not miserable is the fact that we are finally going to see how the San Antonio Spurs are going to approach moving forward with their guy, Victor Wembanyama. Are they going to get aggressive? Are they going to just go with draft picks and go slow and just take one cow at a time, as our good friend Kingsley, who called us earlier, said? Or do they want all the cows? Well, we'll ask them. We'll talk about it. We got another mock draft to show you as well. Plus, what does Wemby want to do? Brian Windhorse thinks that he knows. We'll hear about all of that, talk about all of that, as soon as we return right here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It's the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
Friday on the Morning Huddle, we'll close out what feels like a short week. There's hockey to talk about at least.
Yeah, will there be any more to discuss? We'll figure that out and see if we got some football to talk. It's the Morning Huddle. We'll start at 6 right here on 94.1.
It's the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson. Mornings 6 to 10 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
You know, before you fire up the grill this weekend, make sure you get into Tri-County Meat Market's 2 great locations, because that great meal starts with great meat. Beef, chicken, pork, fajitas, poppers. They've got everything you need to up your grilling game with the quality you expect, and you can always take advantage of their Pick Buy for $25. Tri-County offers a 10% discount for military and first responders. 2 great locations on Ralph Fair Road and on Huebner, or online at tricountymeat.com.
Pizza's here. Oh, great. I'd love some, but I'm worried about my stomach issues.
If you're worried about having diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools, it may not just be stomach issues. It could be a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
The Ace Superhero Comic Con presented by Thomas J. Henry is coming June 20th through the 23rd. Meet Star Trek's Chris Pine, Spider-Man Far From Home star Jake Gyllenhaal, Pirates of the Caribbean's Orlando Bloom, Star Wars Diego Luna, She-Hulk's Tatiana Maslany, and the Marvels Aman Vellani. Plus, the Supermen, Ghostbusters Ernie Hudson, and Arrow's Stephen Amell and David Ramsey. Get your event passes now at pmxevents.com. That's pmxevents.com.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health San Antonio will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and Men's Health at 210-615-7777. That's 210-615-7777. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Testosterone levels in men can start to decrease as early as 30 years old, and long-term health risks can be extremely damaging to your body. Rock's Discount Vitamins carries a variety of natural testosterone boosters that can immediately provide you with more energy, increased libido, increased metabolism, and improve your mood. Rock's Discount Vitamins natural testosterone boosters can even help you build muscle and lose weight faster. With 11 San Antonio locations, visit rocksdiscountvitamins.com. Thanking God and South Texas for all the support.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. 120,000 miles of night drives, daily commutes, and who knows how many.
Are we there yet?
Through countless fixes, elbow grease, and a new radiator, you kept your ride alive. With eBay Motors, you have over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Lowe's knows owning a project means owning the right tools. And during Craftsman Days, you can save big on what you need from a brand you trust. Get a free Select V20 tool when you buy a Select Battery 2-pack. Plus, get your choice of the V20 string trimmer or leaf blower for only $99. Find these savings and more today. Lowe's knows home improvement. Valid through 7/10 while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
The fight for justice never ends. In Texas, there's only one name you need to know. Thomas J. Henry Law. We're one of the biggest personal injury firms in Texas with the money to fight for you. We invest in expert witnesses, investigators, and cutting-edge technology because the best evidence wins cases. And you only pay if we win. No upfront fees, no hidden costs. We give back to the communities we serve, from school supplies for tens of thousands of kids to food for families and pets. Thomas J. Henry. Visit us online at tjhlaw.com. San Antonio.
Ready for the ultimate outdoor adventure? 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star has your chance to win a getaway to Telluride, Colorado. Your prize package includes airfare and luxurious hotel accommodations for two, plus thrilling expeditions like fly fishing, kayaking, ATV rides, and more. And it could be all yours. Enter once per day at sasportstar.com. You must be 18 or older to play. This is an Alpha Media company-wide contest. One winner will be chosen. Complete rules at sasportstar.com. Don't miss out on the adventure of a lifetime. Enter now at sasportstar.com. Tomorrow morning at 6, Ride to Work with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson. It's the Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
This is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. I'm Joe Reinagel. Jason Minnick's on vacation. James Pledger is here doing all of James Pledger things. He pushes buttons. He makes music. He takes me out of context. All of those kinds of things. He's good at it. And you know what? The guy can debate. And that's a good thing. I like that. But somebody please fire me. See that? You see that? Now, Lance, if you're listening, I said, and give me $64 million. So, I mean,
65, but semantics.
65. Well, I'll take 64. All right, I'm a team-friendly guy. That's what I do. I'll make it team-friendly. 64, 50. How about that? Not bad. If you haven't heard, Monte Williams got fired by the Detroit Pistons yesterday, and he still had $65 million left on his contract. I think he's still getting paid from the Suns, too? Jeez, that guy, Mike Brown was the other guy. What is it about Spurs assistants, former Spurs assistants, that make money even when they're unemployed? Mike Brown was a Spurs assistant. Remember him? Another nice guy. He's the head coach of the Sacramento Kings now. Mm-hmm. But at one time, he was collecting a check from the LA Lakers and the Cleveland Cavaliers, because he got fired from both of those places, still money left on his contract. So he was having a good time and collecting a check for, being unemployed. Now Monte Williams is the same way. He's collecting a check from the Detroit Pistons for being unemployed. They fired him after 1 year of service there in Detroit, which was probably a pretty pathetic year. That's the word I'm looking for. But yeah, I mean, it's horrible to be in Detroit anyway. And then you're there with a team that just completely sucks and nowhere to go. There was a report today, and if you haven't heard, JJ Redick is officially the Los Angeles Lakers head coach. But there was a report today that the Pistons were going to make a run for JJ Redick. So I found that interesting. Obviously, that didn't happen. And now he is the head coach officially of the Los Angeles Lakers. 4 years, $8 million per is what they're going to pay JJ Redick, which, if you remember, is a lot less than what they had offered Dan Hurley from UConn to try to get him to leave UConn and come to the Los Angeles Lakers. So, but they got a guy in place, and you kind of needed to get a guy in place pretty quick because you got the draft coming up. I mean, the draft is coming up in less than a week.
And free agency.
That too. That happens a little bit later in July, right? July
Very
6th, I think, something like that. Pascal Siakam has already agreed to a deal to stay in Indiana. That happened yesterday as well.
That you can do right now. You can re-sign your own guys.
So they're going to do that, and he's going to make a lot of money and stay there in Indiana with the Pacers. The Spurs need some players. They need some veteran guys. That's me saying that, and I think they do, because I think Victor Wembanyama is ready to roll. I do, and I don't think he wants to be a 22-win team again next year. You can't just roll out your guys, the same guys, and add a couple of rookie draft picks to that and hope to be much better than you are. Devin Vassell, Wemby, thought developed a great chemistry toward the end of the season last year, the second half, after the All-Star break. They seemed to really get to know each other and get things going on. Who's going to be the best fit for Wemby? And we could throw out a bunch of names. We could throw out a bunch of speculation and who that is and what guys they should go after. It's really kind of a tough deal. Now, of course, we all know the Spurs they've got 2 top 10 draft picks. They got the number 4 and the number 8 pick. And the mock drafts have simply been all over the place. They really have. Earlier in the show, if you were with us, we went through the Athletics mock draft. And they had the Spurs. Well, it was pretty chalk. They had them taking Stephen Castle at number 4. I like that. If that's the way the Spurs go, because I like that guy, and I think he would be not necessarily the point guard of the future, but certainly a shooting guard of the future, wherever he fits best in the NBA. Depends. So wherever he fits best in the NBA, and which is another question mark about draft picks. It may have been a point guard in college, but they're not suited for that in the NBA. Yada, yada, yada. We could go on and on and on. Brian Windhorst has made a living following superstars, covering superstars. He really made his bones with LeBron James, kind of made him famous. Now he's a big deal on ESPN as he's talking about players. And now he's kind of hooked his onto the coattails of Victor Wembanyama. And Windhorst was asked really just kind of what Wemby wants. What's Wemby's feeling as the Spurs get set to go into the draft and free agency?
Yeah, so I think Victor Wembanyama has an expectation that the Spurs are going to improve quickly. I think the question they have to weigh, obviously this is another French prospect, is paying that kind of price for a player who's not viewed as a franchise player.
You're talking about Risa Shea.
I mean, number 1 pick, you're hoping for a guy like a franchise player like Wembanyama. This draft just isn't as deep. Paying that kind of price for a player who may not be a franchise player, who may at his best be what, Jonathan, your 3rd or 4th best player. I think weighing that is one of the things that the Spurs have to judge, going into this process.
Yeah, well, definitely they're going to have to. But if you would pledge, just for my entertainment, would you just play the first part of that bite again?
Yeah, so I think Victor Wembanyama has an expectation that the Spurs are going to improve quickly.
Thank you. That's what I wanted to hear. Victor Wembanyama has the expectation that the Spurs are going to improve quickly. And why wouldn't he have that expectation? Of course he has that expectation. Why would he not have that expectation? The guy knows. If we learned anything about Wemby last year, especially coming out of the All-Star break, this guy knows he can play. This guy knows where he is. I think at the beginning of the season, it was a feeling out deal. You watched Wemby in November and December, and he looked lost at times. He did. And that's no disrespect to Wemby, but he was. And I think it's every rookie. I don't care how good you are. And obviously, Wemby's one of the best to come out, a generational prospect, all of that stuff. But it took him a while to fit in, to see where he fit, to where to go, where to be on the floor, at what time, and all of that stuff. Coming out of the All-Star break, he knew it. And he knew that he was the best player on the floor 9 times out of 10. And he knew it. And you know he's only going to get better. And he's only going to feel better. He's going to be more comfortable. So, of course, he wants to improve quickly. He wants the team to improve quickly. And I wonder, and you have to believe that Pop and Brian Wright and R.C. Buford are listening to their generational talent. And it's time to start the process. Nobody's saying the Spurs should pull out their treasure trove of draft picks and money and just throw it into the air and bring in Kevin Durant and, Booker and Beal and try to build a super team. Nobody's saying that because there have been some guys on YouTube, I think, thinking that that's what I want. It's not. I want to rebuild, but I want to move it along. I don't want to draft 2 guys and then say, well, they need some time and we're going to go on and we're going to tank for another year because really it's 2025's drafts is the best. So we should just tank again, get the number 1 pick again. Let's do that. I don't think so. I don't think that's what we want to do. We got to start the process. Let's go. keep some reserves, but spend some money. It's okay to do that. I'm not saying go to Vegas and have a couple of wild nights and blow it all. Let's be safe. Pledge and I'll do that. But let's be safe. One thing that's been talked about is a deal with the Spurs and the Hawks. Either the Spurs using those picks to move up in the draft to number 1, or the Trae Young has been mentioned. Possible deal with him. Something like that. Well, Jonathan Gavoni from ESPN had some thoughts on what the Hawks might be thinking.
The question is, do they slide back possibly to 4? The San Antonio Spurs own their pick next year. It's unprotected. Can you get the best of both worlds? Slide down to 4, maybe get Donovan Clingan or Reza Shea, get your pick back, and really allow yourself to possibly go into this rebuilding process by trading Trae Young down the road. They have a big decision there to make.
Yeah, so I can see some wheeling and dealing going on. Now, we talked about the ESPN mock draft that had the Hawks taking Alex Sarr. Or was it Ricochet? Anyway, it was one of those two guys. The Athletics mock draft has the Hawks taking Donovan Clingan out of Kentucky, 7'2". This guy's stock is seeming to rise as we get closer to the draft. And I'm wondering why. Obviously, he's a big guy. He's 20 years old, out of Connecticut, won a national title. He's been coached by what we understand and what we see is a great coach in Danny Hurley. But his stock seems to be rising a little bit. In this particular draft, Spurs fans, I think you'd be happy if it went this way. Clingan to the Hawks at number 1. Alex Sarr to the Washington Wizards at number 2. Reed Shepherd to the Houston Rockets at number 3. And then Zachary Ricochet to the Spurs at number 4. Now, I've talked to a lot of Spurs fans that are hoping that the Ricochet, because he is friendly with Victor Wembanyama, would be the guy. And if this particular mock draft played out, I think Spurs fans would be happy. The only consistent, and Pledge, I want your thoughts. And I've seen this in just about every mock draft there is. The Rockets seem to have zeroed in on Reed Shepherd, the 20-year-old guard from Kentucky.
Shepherd and Clingan are the two names I've heard most connected with Houston, and it wouldn't shock me because Houston needs shooting.
Well, and it's interesting. The mock drafts I've seen, Shepherd is kind of plugged in there. So, and Clingan is rising in these mock drafts. So what it tells me is that nobody knows what the hell is going to happen. Nobody knows what the hell is going to happen come next Wednesday night when the NBA draft takes place. I think this is a draft that is all over the place, that it could go 100 different ways, if you will. And I wouldn't be surprised between now and next Wednesday if the mock drafts change some more. It's going to be interesting. But I think a lot of Spurs fans would be very happy if this particular draft turned out the way that they say that this will. Detroit at number 5, they have, and it's Matas Buzelis.
Mm-hmm. Good job.
They have him taking them. And they've got Stephen Castle going to the Hornets at number 6, which is the lowest that I've seen him in the mock draft. So it's going to be interesting to see. And I don't think any of us are going to know. And we may all be scratching our heads and shocked.
Here's the
thing. By
thing.
the time it's over Wednesday night.
You look at, Stephon Castle falling that far. What if they do get Ricochet at 4? All of a sudden you can appease Wemby, get an athletic long 3 basically, and then get your point guard of the future in Castle by trading up from 8 instead of from 4 to 1.
Well, I mean, that would be ideal. And again, I'm a big fan of Castle. Just watching him play at Connecticut, the kid can play. There's no question about it.
And mainly, he can play defense.
He can, yes. Yes, he can play defense. The Spurs could use some of that. And you put a good defensive player alongside or on the floor with Wemby. And again, I think that's obviously it's Greg Popovich. That's where they're going to want to look. I don't think there's any question. I have to believe, as Pop was watching the NBA Finals and watching how Boston played defense, he had to just be smiling because it had to remind him of the teams that he had during the dynasty for the Spurs in the 2000s. A team that was team first and played defense. And that's why Boston really reminded me a lot of those teams. Now, I think the Spurs would have kicked Boston's ass all over the floor. Name one from an NBA Finals team. They would have kicked their butts all over the floor. There's no doubt in my mind. However, it reminded me, the style of play that they used was very Spurs-like. It simply was very Spurs-like, and I found it fascinating. And it impressed me, especially in game 5 when they won it. The defense was just smothering. It was just absolutely smothering. So he had to be smiling at that. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun to talk about it as we lead up to the draft next Wednesday night. And then it's going to be even more fun as we turn off the television sets at the end of that draft, round 1 on Wednesday nights, and see, I never saw that coming. Or it could be that played out exactly like the Athletic said it would, or the ESPN said it would, or name a mock draft. So it's going to be fun to watch. And will there be any wheeling and dealing beforehand? Between now and then, that's going to be something to watch. Maybe you could hear about deals being made or talked about even before Wednesday of next week. So it's going to be a lot of fun as we lead into that. Obviously, it's not as exciting and clear cut as we were talking about last year because we knew exactly what was going to happen, at least for those first 2 picks, Wemby to San Antonio and Scoot Henderson to Portland. But we've got a little intrigue, a little drama coming up with this year's draft, and I find it fascinating. And we're going to take a break. When we come back, we got a lot happening. Antonio Daniels, former Spur, is going to join us at 5:30, and we're going to ask him to put his GM hat on. And what would he do when it comes to the Spurs? How does he think the Spurs should proceed when it comes to building a team around Victor Wembanyama? I can't wait to find his or get his opinion on how they're going to do that, plus a lot of other NBA talk. Also, the General John McClain is going to join us at 5:15. A lot of NFL talk to talk about, including, of course, the Houston Texans and what he is thinking at this point in time. When we come back, this morning with my little brother, and I want to know what you guys think. How would you handle it? What do y'all think? And do you care anymore? Has it changed that much? And, of course, I'm talking about the media and professional sports. We'll talk about that and a lot more when the Blitz continues on the other side right here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. First, though, I want to tell you about Parkhurst New Vision. So happy to talk about Parkhurst New Vision. Happened again this morning. Open up social media, and there is another testimonial, if you will, from a very happy patient of Parkhurst New Vision. Dr. Parkhurst and his staff over there are the best in the business, and they treat you right. They treat you like family. Look, they treated me like family. They still do, in fact. I called from time to time, how you doing? Everything okay? Everything going all right? And it's amazing. And you get that call and it just puts a smile on your face. I had lens replacement surgery over a year ago, and my eyesight is better than it's been in 30 plus years. It is just incredible. And look, you can join the community of happy patients of Parkhurst New Vision. All you have to do is take that first step, and that's to give them a call, 210-585-2020. You can also check them out online at sanantoniolasik.com. You give them a call, you set up that initial consultation, let them know that Joe Reinagle from the Blitz sent you over there, and then ask any questions that you have. They'll talk you through the procedure that they're going to go through and how they're going to make your eyesight better than it's been in years. Join the community. Let Parkhurst New Vision do for you what they've done for me and so many others. Give them a call. Do it today. 210-585-2020.
Riding 281 with the Blitz. Afternoons 2 to 6, KTFM Floresville, and everywhere at sasportstar.com.
Hi, I'm attorney Steve Benke. If you've made the decision to divorce, meaning experienced people get through divorce, custody, child support, and alimony problems, call me. I'm attorney Steve Benke.
210-DIVORCE or go to BenkeLaw.com.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. Go ahead, feel your engine. Admire that perfectly installed exhaust. Your vehicle's moving along this freeway like it was made from fresh installs and a whole lot of love. With eBay Motors, you get over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
No one knows the importance of a great assist more than Lowe's and Leo Messi. That's why we've teamed up to give My Lowe's Rewards members 10 times the points when Messi makes an assist during CONMEBOL Copa America USA 2024. Activate this offer starting June 20th, so when Messi assists, you score. Shop the day after an assist to earn those extra points. Not a My Lowe's Rewards member? Join for free today.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer, he hears things differently. To the untrained ear, everything on his shop floor might sound fine, but he can hear gears grinding or a belt slipping. So he steps in to fix the problem at hand before it gets out of hand. And he knows Grainger's got the right product he needs to get the job done, which is music to his ears. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Cue the fireworks and celebrate Independence Day with the Omaha Steaks 4th of July sale. Save 50% off site-wide and fire up the perfect backyard cookout with tender steaks, juicy burgers, deli-style franks, and more family favorites. Shop today at omahasteaks.com and score an extra $30 off when you use promo code SIZZLE at checkout. Plus, every purchase is backed by their unconditional money-back guarantee. Hurry, because this offer won't last long. That's omahasteaks.com. Promo code SIZZLE at checkout.
Omaha Steaks, America's original butcher.
The best things in life, they come in twos. 2 scoops of ice cream, 2 tacos. And now for a limited time, get our best deal of the year. Buy any phone when you switch to Consumer Cellular and get 2 months of service free. That's right, the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage as Big Wireless, now with 2 months free. Proof the best things in life really do come in twos. Visit consumercellular.com or call 1-888-FREEDOM. Second and third month of monthly base service fee waived for new customers with the purchase of a phone and activation by July 31st, 2024. Taxes, fees, and third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle unless you use ZipRecruiter. Advanced technology identifies candidates with the right skills, sends you great matches, then you can easily invite them to apply. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. See for yourself. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
94.1 FM, San Antonio Sports Star. San Antonio's Sports Center.
It is the breaking news this afternoon. The LA Lakers have made it official. They've hired JJ Redick as their next head coach. We're told 4 years, $8 million per year. Of course, the draft is less than a week away. Spurs, they're going to work out one of the prospects, a French prospect, Zachary Richichet. He will work out in San Antonio tomorrow, we are told. Also reportedly scheduled to work out with the Hawks and the Wizards.
Sports Center is brought to you by Buyers Barricades, the Texas Authority in Barricade Rental. BuyersBarricades.com.
Joe Reinagel.
And for the third time in 7 seasons, the San Antonio Spurs are the NBA champions.
Jason Minix.
They go back to big day as Super Bowl champions. Dallas 52, Buffalo 17.
It's the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Well, happy Thursday, everybody. Hope you're having a great Thursday afternoon. If you get off work at 5 o'clock, you're almost there. Hang in there, because you're almost there. And guess what? It's like New Year's Eve. It's Friday Eve. So you're almost to Friday. So you've almost made it through the week. You know, I would keep you going. Optimistic thinking here on San Antonio Sports Star is what we're going to do. By the way, we're going to judge meat coming up here in just a moment as well. So you still have time. If you haven't submitted your picture of the meat that you grilled at some point in time, whether it was last weekend or this week, So join us, right? Because we're going to do Grilling with the Blitz coming up. Submit recipes, pictures at sasportstar.com because we do it every week. We give you a chance to win a new $50 gift card to Tri-County Meat Market, the absolute best meat market in the whole wide world. Love those guys over there. Those guys are fantastic. So you still got time. We're going to do it a little early tonight, by the way, just so you know. We will announce the winner at about 5 o'clock instead of our normal time of a little after 5:30 because Antonio Daniels is scheduled to join us at 5:30 today. Looking forward to that. Haven't talked to the former Spur in a long time, and so I can't wait to hear what he has to say. He's a broadcaster now for the New Orleans Pelicans and does a great job with them. So looking forward to talking to Antonio coming up here at 5:30 today. You know, it's interesting. We've been talking a lot about the NBA draft and some NFL stuff, training camp dates and all that stuff open. And what's good about the draft is, the players will get drafted and then they'll talk to the commissioner. And then guess what? They'll go to a post-game press conference or a post-draft press conference and they'll talk to the media because everybody wants to talk to them. You know, after the game the other night, NBA Finals, Game 5, Mavericks got knocked out. Sure, they were disappointed. Sure, they were very unhappy. But guess what? Luka, Kyrie, Jason Kidd, they all sat there. They met with the media. They talked with the media and answered all their questions. And that's what you do, right? I mean, that's what we expect as sports fans. I want to hear from the participants. Well, at last week's U.S. Open, Rory McIlroy, he yipped a couple of putts, for lack of a better word. They were very difficult putts, and I'm not saying that I could have made them or you could have made them or Pledge could have made them or anybody could have made them. But he's a professional, and you expect a professional golfer to make them. Well, he was very upset and left after that. Bryson DeChambeau won the tournament, and Rory stormed off and said, "The heck with y'all. I'm leaving. I'm going home." Then he sent out a statement saying how he's going to, just lay low for a couple of weeks. He'll see you in Scotland when we get ready for the Genesis Open over there, the Scottish Open, and then, of course, the British Open. They call it the Open Championship across the pond, but we still call it the British Championship, and that's what we do. So I'm in the gym this morning. I work out with my brother 4 days a week or so, and we got into a little argument, and I started it, and I didn't mean because I thought anybody with, half a brain would agree with me. But he didn't. I said, look, did you see Rory being a donkey and, not talking to the media and just kind of stormed off? And he goes, well, yeah, I don't blame him. I'd have done the same thing. And I'm like, sometimes your little brother they're just still not quite developed no matter how old they get. They're just not quite there yet. I'm going, well, you got to be kidding me. I said, really? He goes, yeah. I said, if you criticize Rory, you've never been an athlete. I'm going, whoa. Pump the brakes there, buddy. Pump the brakes.
Pretty sure I had to shake up by his hands after losses.
Yeah, you got to pump the brakes, okay? Because, look, first of all, it showed really bad sportsmanship. And you can laugh at that or not. I really don't care. But, he should have stayed there. He lost. So what happened? And that happens in golf, especially on that golf course where the greens are like putting on a piece of glass. That's just the way they are. And look, golf is hard, even for a guy like Rory McIlroy. And I know he's frustrated because he hasn't won a major championship in a long time. I get that. He had that one. It was his to win, and he let it get away. Missed a couple of putts, and, he let it get away. That happens. That's sports. That's the drama of it. But after something like that, he is scheduled to go to the podium for however long, 5 minutes, and talk to the media. And I know he didn't want to answer questions, but he was supposed to. And so we got into this little debate this morning. And, look, I'm a member of the media, so maybe I'm a little bit jaded. But I know that professional athletes, no matter what sport they're in, have an obligation to talk to the media. The NBA will fine a team if a player on a scheduled date does not meet with the media, or after a game, for example, does not meet with the media. There are rules that are involved. Win, lose, draw, missed putt, doesn't matter. Because the problem is, as I see it, and as I explained to my younger brother, is that without the media, without NBC in that case, Rory McIlroy is not making anywhere close to the amount of money that he's making. Dak Prescott, $60 million. Guess what? And Dak, to his credit, never dodges the media. And I will give him credit for that. But the only reason he's able to do that is because of Fox, CBS, Prime now, Amazon, and the number of others that are there that put the money in, all that money in. It's an obligation to do that. So my question to you is, and I got to thinking about this afterwards because it really didn't seem to bother my brother at all that he didn't talk to the media. He didn't care. Do you care? Anybody out there, do you care if athletes meet with the media after, regardless of what's happened and how they performed, win or lose? Do you care? Obviously, I do. But again, I'm on the media side. Pledge is on the media side. I want to know what you think if you're not on the media side. And by the media side, I mean working in media. As a sports fan, do you care if Victor Wembanyama talks after a game? Do you want to hear from Victor Wembanyama after a game? Or Dak Prescott? Or CJ Stroud? Or name one. Is that something that is important to you? And I just am curious from my own selfishness because I want to know. I want to know as a fan, do you? And if you're on YouTube, you can chime in there. If you're on Twitter, at Joe Reinigle 210. Or if you want to give us a call, you can do that. 656-ESPN, 656-3776. Does it matter to you whether athletes talk after a performance or not? It matters to me. And in my mind, it's not in my mind, it's an obligation that they are supposed to do it. It's an obligation. But nobody's going to say anything to Rory McIlroy. Nobody. PGA's not going to say anything to him. Look, he's been their biggest cheerleader and biggest advocate over the last couple of years. So they're not going to say anything. It's going to be okay. And that's the way it's going to be. Somebody like LeBron James, if he didn't want to talk to the media, which I've never seen LeBron skip a media session, maybe he has, and I just don't recall. So I give him respect for that. There are guys that get it and guys that don't. And that's why I'll never understand. And again, had a long time worked with, if you will, sort of, Greg Popovich. I love Greg Popovich. I got a great deal of respect for Greg Popovich. But I never liked the way he treated the media. And I get it. If somebody asks a stupid question, you want to blow them up, I'm all for it. I am all for it. Blow them up. And it's a dumb question. I've been blown up for stupid questions. I have. And you look back and you deserve it. And that's the way that it goes. But it is part of the job, whether you think so or not. It's part of the job. I want to look on YouTube because we're getting some comments there. Hunter Hitch says, I don't care if we're all going to get the stereotypical scripted answer every time. I get that. Rudolph Gonzalez, who wants to be me so badly, and I don't blame you, Rudolph. I really don't. He says, I think that's why you sign for millions of dollars, is so that you're available and you take the scrutiny. I agree with you completely. Man M says, athletes should talk if obligated. PGA should have fined him, so they don't care. And you're right. They perhaps should have, because he is obligated to do that. And he didn't. Tariq says, I'd rather Dak perform on the field and stop giving us bull crap excuses. Okay. At least he goes to the podium, Tariq, to do that. And then the 109er on our YouTube page says they don't have to make it easy. They don't have to make it. I'm not sure what you mean, and maybe you're talking about something else. But I get where you're coming from, and it seems like a lot of you are in agreement. Some of you don't want to hear it because it is just the same player talk, athlete talk, coach speak, whatever the case may be. But still, when you look at an athlete, and whether it's right, wrong, or indifferent, it doesn't matter. Uh-oh, we got some breaking news. Breaking news from Woj here that just came down says the Chicago Bulls are trading two-time all-defensive guard Alex Caruso to the Oklahoma City Thunder for guard Josh Giddey. That's just coming down right now from Woj. Again, the Bulls trading two-time, what was it, Pledge? It's Alex Caruso for Josh Giddey. Now, remember, Josh Giddey was in a lot of trouble in Oklahoma City. There were reports that he was dating an underage female. And he was cleared of that, I think, or it went under the table, whatever happened to it.
Unsubstantiated.
There was some smoke, however. They just couldn't find any fire. But there's a big trade. I think we're going to see this. This is the tip of the iceberg. Tip of the iceberg. You've got this trade. So one, Caruso to Oklahoma City, and Giddey's now going to Chicago.
There was also this tweet this post on X.
What was
just a few minutes ago from Trae Young? It's the hourglass emoji.
The hourglass emoji. So you can take that as you will. I guess it's just a matter of time.
It's just a matter of time.
Yeah, I kind of read that. Okay, so look, that's the tip of the iceberg. I think we're going to see a lot of these trades, a lot of talk of trades, a lot of creepy Twitter posts from guys like Trae Young. Not that that was creepy, but kind of cryptic, I guess is the right way to
That's
say
a much better way to phrase that.
Cryptic, right? Not creepy, cryptic. So interesting. I want to do this because I did ask for phone calls, Pledge. Before we go to a break, we're talking about the media and athletes, pro athletes, being obligated to talk to them. So let's go to the phone lines at 656-3776, 656 ESPN. Joshua is on the phone line. Joshua, welcome to the Blitz.
Hey, guys. How you doing, man? What a beautiful Thursday it is. Just kind of stopped raining. But I do think that athletes need to talk to the media after. I understand there's certain situations where they can't, but at most of them, they need to talk, and especially be open to more interviews just with, I don't know, let's say your run-of-the-mill great radio station like 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Amen, brother.
Spurs, let's get some players in there. The thing that C.J. Stroud has done over this past offseason is go out and be more available on media, do more interviews, and to me, it's endeared him to the Houston Texans fans and made him more of a likable person to just people in Houston and outside of Houston. It's let you get to know him. We want to get to know Wemby. We want to understand, hey, Wemby, what did you draw on your face? Was it a little swimmer or was it a sweat? We don't know yet. So that's our thing. We want to know from these guys. We want to hear from them. I mean, that's what we've always wanted in San Antonio is to get to know these guys, especially when Antonio – and now you got good old Antonio Daniels coming in. We've wanted to know him for a while, but now we have to learn about him from New Orleans. Come on, let's hear about him in San Antonio. Let's hear about them when they play for the teams that they're at, and let's get to know these players as people because at the end of the day, they're run-of-the-mill people just like you and me. Yes, they're a lot better at basketball, but, hey, they're great people, and let's get to know them as people and not just as players. Like, that's the good thing about these interviews and stuff. And thanks for everything y'all done. Joe, you've done amazing without Jason Minix. I know he's out there in his little Dak Prescott Speedo just soaking up the Rays in Washington. So keep up the good work, Pledge. Great work as always. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Joshua. I appreciate the phone call. And I couldn't agree with Joshua more when it comes to that. Honestly, I think that's always been something that the Cowboys have done where other franchises have not. They make their players available. You get to know them on a personal level instead of just the coach speak and forgive my language, but this is what we call it in the business, a gangbang, when there's just nothing but media members around, and you get to know them. And I think fans like that. And I think teams benefit from it. We don't get it a lot here, but that's the way they do things, and so be it. Look, we got to take a break. When we come back, what the heck are we going to do? I'm ready for Antonio Daniels.
We can do whatever we want, Joe.
We can do whatever we want. Let's talk NFL quarterbacks. You want to talk NFL quarterbacks? We can do that. We'll also talk about something the NCAA is proposing. We'll see how y'all like that. We'll talk about that and a lot more when we return right here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
94.1.
Testosterone levels in men can start to decrease as early as 30 years old, and long-term health risks can be extremely damaging to your body. Rock's Discount Vitamins carries a variety of natural testosterone boosters that can immediately provide you with more energy, increased libido, increased metabolism, and improve your mood. Rock's Discount Vitamins natural testosterone boosters can even help you build muscle and lose weight faster. With 11 San Antonio locations, visit rocksdiscountvitamins.com. Thanking God and South Texas for all the support.
You know, you live in San Antonio and South Texas, a water softener is almost a necessity, right? The water is hard here. Everybody knows that. I'm not telling you anything you don't know. And if you're thinking about a water softener for your home, you want to get the best, don't you? The best is Connecticut quality water softeners. Look, Connecticut's been serving San Antonio for over 50 years. Their product is made in America, up to 80% more efficient than competing models. It's a simple design, fewer moving parts. And the one thing I love about it, the results are fantastic. My hair's softer, my wife's hair is softer. I mean, everything is just better. Dishes are cleaner and all of that stuff. And it will protect your appliances, by the way. But the one thing I like, there's nothing to plug in. It does not run on electricity. There's no buttons to push, no timers to set and reset or adjustments to make. It won't increase your electric bill. It only works when you need it to work, and it works each and every time. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And right now, the good folks at Connecticut Quality Water Softeners are going to let you try their product in your home for 90 days, absolutely free and with no contract. You heard me right. You can try in your home a Connecticut Quality Water Softener for 90 days, absolutely free with no contract. That's crazy. You need to take advantage of it. How do you do that? You give them a call, 656-PURE. That's 656-7873. Or you can check them out at ConnecticutSA.com. Look, you know the jingle. I love singing it. Connecticut, the last water softener you'll ever own. Call 656-PURE, Connecticut.
Hi, I'm Henry Winkler. My eyes are very important to me. My eyes connect me with everything I love. I loved my late father-in-law dearly. He always lit up a room, but his vision dimmed with age. He had age-related macular degeneration, or AMD. And I've learned there's an advanced form of dry AMD called geographic atrophy, or GA. His struggle with vision loss made me want to help others know about GA's warning signs. For some, colors appear dull or washed out. For others, hazy or blurred vision make it hard to see details, like fine print on price tags. Many have trouble seeing in the dark, making driving at night difficult. GA gets worse over time and cannot be reversed. If you think you have GA, don't wait. Treatments are available. Ask a retina specialist about FDA-approved treatments for GA and go to GAWon'tWait.com.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textblend.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop, opt out. Go to nomoredraftywindows.com for full offer details.
Homeowners, ready to replace your windows or patio doors, but think it's going to be too expensive? Well, think again, because with Renewal by Andersen, you can get top quality, affordable windows and patio doors for no money down, no payments, and no interest for 12 months. That's right. You don't pay a dime for an entire year. Just text LONG to 200-300 right now for your free in-home window consultation and free price quote. Upgrade your home with new energy-efficient windows and doors installed by certified master installers from Renewal by Andersen and get their best in the nation 20-year warranty. Renewal by Andersen is the company with the most 5-star reviews among leading full-service window replacement companies. Act now and get your windows and patio doors for no dollars down, no payments, and no interest for an entire year. Plus, save $359 off every window and $887 off every door. But hurry, these big dollar savings end this month. Text LONG to 200-300. Text the word LONG to 200-300. Don't wait. Text LONG to 200-300.
Gomez Law Firm has been taking care of the people of San Antonio for almost 50 years, the leader in personal injury law. Jose, tell us a little bit more about what you do.
We do ride-sharing cases, 18-wheeler cases. Obviously, we've done those for very many years. Work injuries. We will be happy to take a look at and see if we can help.
If you have been injured in an accident or hit by a company vehicle, then you need to visit joegomezlaw.com.
We've been around for almost 50 years, and we're not going anywhere.
Call the Gomez Law Firm at 736-4040.
No one knows the importance of a great assist more than Lowe's and Leo Messi. That's why we've teamed up to give My Lowe's Rewards members 10 times the points when Messi makes an assist during CONMEBOL Copa America USA 2024. Activate this offer starting June 20th, so when Messi assists, you score. Shop the day after an assist to earn those extra points. Not a My Lowe's Rewards member? Join for free today.
Not to brag, but Progressive's Name Your Price tool is mankind's greatest tool ever. Even better than the wheel. Sure, without the wheel, we wouldn't have modern transportation or funny videos of dogs riding skateboards. But without the Name Your Price tool, we wouldn't have easy access to auto insurance options based on our budget. And, well, cars do need wheels. They also need insurance, and insurance never goes flat. Learn more about the greatest tool ever, the Name Your Price tool at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law. Not available in all states.
It's the Blitz with Jason and Joe on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Pledge got the good music going today, man. Well done, Pledge. Got it happening. A little rocking stuff. Got me tapping my foot and banging my head and all of that good kind of stuff, man. Well done. This is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. I'm Joe Reinagle. Jason Minix is on vacation. James Pledger running things over there. And thank you all so much, however you're listening out there, for listening with us today and spending part of your Thursday with us, whether that's on YouTube with a lot of people there and commenting on Twitter at Joe Reinagle 210. That's how you can get a hold of me there, and you can reach us the old-fashioned way as well. 656-ESPN, 656-3776. Big congratulations and shout-out to the Texas A&M Aggies. How about those Aggies, man? Going to the NCAA College World Series finals against Tennessee. Tennessee came in as the best team in the tournament, by all accounts. The Aggies number 2. So it's set up exactly how it is supposed to be. We'll visit with the voice of the Aggies, Andrew Monaco, tomorrow here on the Blitz. He's going to join us at 3:30. They will start that best-of-3 series on Saturday out there in Omaha, Nebraska. So way to go, Aggies. By the way, you can listen to that game on AM 1250, by the way, on Saturday. So keep that in mind. If you're driving around, you want to listen to the game. Happened today with the NCAA. And I know you're saying, hey, well, the NCAA, who knows what's going to happen? They have presented a plan to Division I conference commissioners that would expand the men's and women's basketball tournaments by 4 or 8 teams, along with an option to leave each field at 68 teams. So they've got a proposal out there. It was outlined that they could there's an outline they could go to 72 teams, which would be adding 4 more, or 76 teams, which is a big expansion. I'll be honest with you. I don't like the way they do the 68 teams because, quite frankly, you have the first games, and y'all may disagree with me. And if you do, I get it. I don't like the play-in style, if you will, although they do throw us a bone with a 7 and 10 battle or whatever that is, how they do it with some better teams. But some of these teams are playing for the right to get smashed by UConn or whatever other number 1 seeds are. So I get it, and it adds excitement. I understand, but I mean, it's like, so you add on another, 4 or 6 teams, 8 teams, whatever it is. How are they going to handle that? And where are those teams going to come from? I'm all for expanding the tournament because I love the NCAA tournament. But I just don't know if would it add intrigue as far as you're concerned. For me, I'm not sure that it would. It would make it longer, right? Now, of course, all of this, as we've been talking a lot about the media today, the NCAA is right in the middle of an 8-year extension of its TV deal for the NCAA tournament, the men's tournament, worth $8.8 billion, by the way. It runs through 2032. I'm not sure how adding more teams would change that, if TV networks are looking for that. I just don't. Sometimes I think you can kill a good thing. You know, when you had a field of 64, I thought, well, you've got a great thing. I know you added some teams and you give some other teams hope, I suppose. But look, I just think the NCAA tournament to me is one of the best sporting events there is. It is just so much fun, so much excitement. I love the one and done scenario because you have a bad day. I don't care who you are, you can get beat. And I love that. And it adds a lot of excitement for me to this whole thing. And I don't know. You start screwing this thing up. I've gotten used to the 68 and how they do it, but it really didn't move the needle as far as I was concerned. And I'm not sure how it's going to move the needle any if you add another 4 or 8 teams to the tournament. I really don't know. So that's the proposal. Nothing as far as when this decision is going to be made or how long they're going to discuss this, because it was presented to the commissioners of the Division I schools today. They'll talk it over, vote on it, and either say yay or nay. Claymore says 72 teams for March Madness is too much. I have a tendency to agree with you there, Claymore. I really do. I'd be fine if they just went back to 64, to be honest with you.
I mean, why don't they just let everybody in?
Right. And I think that's what you're going to see with the college football playoffs too. Are we going to expand to a point where it is too much? I love 12. I would love to see more because I like football and I love college football. So, more, but how many more? I mean, how many do you add? I think 12 is going to be fun to watch and see how it is. I think the 4 was a joke to begin with. A complete joke in my mind. 4 teams, big deal, same teams all the time. This way, at least you're going to get some other flavors, if you will, in there that you can kind of watch and pull for and see how they do. But I don't know, man. I think 72, 76 teams is just way too much. And if you're going to leave it at 68, leave it at 68. Again, I'd go back to 64. That was the proposal today. And that's where we sit at this point in time. So what do you think about that? Please let me know on YouTube, on Twitter. If you want to call in on the phone lines and address however you want to be a part of the show, we want you to be a part of the show. That's what we want here at San Antonio Sports Star because we're generous, Pledge and I, and we want to hear from you. You get to hear our opinions all the time. I like to hear your opinions as well, especially on this next topic as we move forward. Quarterback contracts. I will give my partner, Jason Minix, all the credit in the world for this because he suggested this, months ago, that maybe quarterbacks in the NFL need a different system or not count against the main salary cap. Is that the answer? Well, guess what? NFL owners now are thinking along those lines. Would that work? And what about an 18-game season? Talk about expansion. What about an 18-game season in the NFL? Would you go for that? Would you like to see it? And how about the players? Would they go for that? Would they like to see it? We'll discuss when we return right here on San Antonio Sports Star 94.1. Before we go, though, look, all this rain we're getting, can you imagine what the Golf Club of Texas is going to look like after all this rain? It's going to be plush, green, just fantastic. It's going to be great. You want to make your tee time. Get out there this weekend. I think the rain's going to go away. It's going to be a nice weekend, and the golf course is going to be in pristine shape. Get on out to the Golf Club of Texas. If you haven't been out there lately, you have not been out there. Look, the Golf Club of Texas is not a private club, but it certainly feels like one. It is open to the public 7 days a week, and the Golf Club of Texas offers some of the best course conditions in town with the friendliest staff. And look, if you're not a golfer, that's okay too. They've got one of the best sit-down restaurants on that side of town. It's called the Tin Cup. You can take the family out there and, well, it's not going to break the bank to get a good meal. The Tin Cup is outstanding. Golf Club of Texas is right there at Briggs Ranch Road off Highway 90. Whether you're going out there for dinner at the Tin Cup, around with your buddies, your next tournament, go check them out. Best rates are always online at golfclubtexas.com. That's golfclubtexas.com. The Golf Club of Texas, the friendliest golf course in Texas.
It's the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
Friday on the Morning Huddle, we'll close out what feels like a short week. There's hockey to talk about at least.
Yeah, will there be any more to discuss? We'll figure that out and see if we got some football to talk. It's the Morning Huddle. We'll start at 6 right here on 94.1.
It's the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson. Mornings 6 to 10 on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Over the past decade, the Roo Pub has proven to be the best place to watch games with those 3 massive 170-inch screens and TVs all around. All the games, all the UFC fights, and when you show up at the Roo Pub, show up hungry. The food is fantastic. Open daily at 11. Great for lunch, great for dinner, great for late at night, and certainly the best place to watch a game. The Roo Pub is next to the Angry Elephant and in the same plaza as the Big Blind there at 281 in Redland Road. We'll see you at the Roo.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies candidates with the right skills, sends you great matches, then you can easily invite them to apply. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. See for yourself. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Join the free smoothie party at Tropical Smoothie Cafe on June 21st for National Smoothie Day. We're treating our Tropic Rewards members to a free smoothie with bowl or food purchase. Order an app, online, or pop by the cafe for a little sip and chill. 3 cheers to our Tropic fam. Terms and conditions apply.
Snakes, zombies, public speaking. The list of fears is endless. But the real danger is in your hand when you're behind the wheel. Distracted driving is what's really scary and even deadly. Eyes forward, don't drive distracted. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
The Ace Superhero Comic Con presented by Thomas J. Henry is coming June 20th to the 23rd. Meet Star Trek's Chris Pine, Spider-Man Far From Home star Jake Gyllenhaal, Pirates of the Caribbean's Orlando Bloom, Star Wars Diego Luna, She-Hulk's Tatiana Maslany, and the Marvels Aman Vellani. Plus, the Supermen, Ghostbusters Ernie Hudson, and Arrow's Stephen Amell and David Ramsey. Get your event passes now at pmxevents.com. That's pmxevents.com.
Join the free smoothie party at Tropical Smoothie Cafe on June 21st for National Smoothie Day. We're treating our Tropic Rewards members to a free smoothie with bowl or food purchase. Order an app, online, or pop by the cafe for a little sip and chill. 3 cheers to our Tropic fam. Terms and conditions apply.
Years of unfiled taxes or owe more than $8,000. The tax attorneys at Allies Tax Relief are your ally and will stop the IRS from garnishing your wages or levying your bank account. Call 800-230-5174.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer, he hears things differently. To the untrained ear, everything on his shop floor might sound fine, but he can hear gears grinding or a belt slipping. So he steps in to fix the problem at hand before it gets out of hand. And he knows Grainger's got the right product he needs to get the job done, which is music to his ears. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Have you gotten your hands on Southern Recipe small batch pork rinds at H-E-B yet? Southern Recipe small batch offers big, bold flavors like hot honey, spicy dill, and sea salt and cracked black pepper. Bonus, you're going to love the low-carb, high-protein crunch. Turn snack time from ordinary to extraordinary with flavorful pork rinds. Pick up your favorite flavors of Southern Recipe small batch pork rinds at H-E-B today.
If you can't sleep because of annoying knee pain, that's a problem. If you stop running because your feet always hurt, that's a problem. If your elbow, shoulder, and neck pain make it impossible for you to do your job, that is a problem. And it's time to finally do something about it. I'm Dr. Jason Garrett from Arasti. At Arasti, we fix pain fast. No medications, no injections. Arasti treatment is completely natural and non-invasive. Plus, we accept most insurance plans. There's a location near you. Visit Arasti.com. That's AIRROSTI.com. Rusty, we fix pain fast.
Cowboys play here. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Cowboys do play here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star, and they're going to kick off training camp out in Oxnard on July 27th. Not July. Is it 27th? 22nd. Day is it? I think we're out there then. So it's a week before that, the 22nd. That Pledge looked at me like I had three heads.
July 24th.
24th. That was in July. What the hell? We go out there on the 28th. We'll start our
Who cares
shows.
about accuracy?
Exactly. Don't let facts get in the way of a good story. And that's ridiculous. So we will start our shows live from Oxnard on the tennis courts out there on the 29th. So the morning huddle will be out there that morning. We'll be out there that afternoon, and we'll have our shows live there on the tennis courts all week long at Oxnard. Looking forward to that. It's going to be a lot of fun. Always is. And this year, maybe more drama, more intrigue, more question marks, certainly, than we've had in a long, long time. So you want to keep it right here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. The Texans, by the way, kick off their training camp early, the 17th. And so they get things started a little bit early, a week earlier, in fact. Playing in the Hall of Fame game this year. So their preseason game is a little bit is one of the first. It is the first, obviously. So appreciate the comments on the NCAA topic we were talking about last. If you're just joining us, NCAA has proposed expanding the men's and women's basketball tournament. So now it's up to the commissioners, but a lot of people talking about that. And it doesn't seem to be too many big fans of that, at least from what the small sample size we're getting on our YouTube page. Well, if you're not a fan of that, are you a fan of this? According to Bleacher Report, they're saying the quarterback salary cap is being discussed by some owners amid growing contracts. And we've been talking about it. And look, quarterback salaries have been on the increase big time for some time now, but they have really seemed to exploded here over the last couple of years or so. And the problem is that it takes up all the salary cap. And we're talking about my good friend Dak Prescott, who's due for a new contract, whether that's going to be with the Cowboys or somebody else. But if you sign Dak to what it is the reports say he wants, we'll give it a wide range between $50 and $60 million, probably on the $55 to $60 million range. Whoever signs him, whether it's the Cowboys or somebody else, that's a lot of money. And then the Cowboys have two other players that are going to command top of the market money, CeeDee Lamb and Micah Parsons. You've already signed Trayvon Diggs to a big contract. So the point where tough decisions have to be made. And we've seen that with Tyreek Hill, for example, leaving the Kansas City Chiefs. Stephon Diggs leaving the Buffalo Bills. And some of that could be due to contracts. Some could be due to just other things. And the team and that player need a fresh start. Maybe that was the case with Stephon Diggs. But he's going to be playing at least this year in the city of Houston for the Texans. But I wonder if this is a good idea. And I say that I would like to see a cap maybe put on that. Although the union would never go for it. They would never go for it. But it makes sense. Doesn't it? Because I don't like the idea of having a separate quarterback salary cap. I mean, if you put the quarterbacks in one barrel and, they don't count against the team salary cap, I mean, isn't that pretty much the same as, I don't know, the team with the deeper pockets is going to have the better team? Because you go in, your quarterback's over here, you don't have to count, for example, Dak Prescott's $60 million a year contract. Doesn't count. You got an extra $60 million over here that you can spend on whatever. Well, Jerry Jones has got that ability where other teams may not want to do that. And keep in mind, the team still has to pay that quarterback salary. But now they've just got an extra pot of money that they're going to have to spend on other players. And do you honestly think if that were to happen, that guys like Micah Parsons, CD Lamb wouldn't want a bigger piece of the pie then? It's like, well, heck, if you don't have to pay the quarterback, it doesn't count against the salary cap. Guess what? Instead of, say, $35 million a year, I want $55 million a year. And then you're going to have the same problem moving forward. There has got to be some sort of a cap to all of these salaries, if you're talking about that. And look, and again, I don't live in a fantasy land, and I know I may sound like it, but you're going to have to do something. I mean, where does it all end? Unless you're talking about the new TV deals and all the money that's coming in, do we just leave it as it is and let it grow and make teams figure it out? That's the other answer. I don't like the quarterback only salary cap, if you will, or the quarterback being on the outside looking into a team salary cap, because I think it's going to be the same mess that we're into now. I'm curious to hear what you guys have to think, whether you're on our YouTube channel or if you're driving around, you want to give us a phone call, 656-ESPN, 656-3776. You can reach me as well on Twitter at Joe Reinagle 210. Let's go to the phone lines now, in fact, because David is there and wants to talk about the salary cap. David, welcome to the Blitz.
Hey, Joe. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I think this is a perfect example of the owners not knowing what they're doing. There's always going to be an owner that thinks that he knows better and they will overspend for a player. Don't get me wrong, I'm all for players making their money and stuff like that. But this all started with Mahomes back in the time when he signed his contract. And then here goes Cleveland signing Watson. And now quarterback salaries are going through the roof. And I don't know any company that's fiscally responsible by paying 3 of their employees 30% of their salary limit. It doesn't make any sense to me. And that's, like I said, I think it's just further example of the owners just shooting themselves in the foot. But then we pay for it when we go to the games and everything else, and maybe that's why they do it. Thanks, Joe.
Yeah, thanks, David. Appreciate the phone call. You know, it's interesting. Here's what I'd like to see, and maybe I am living in a fantasy land when I say this. Why does Daniel Jones deserve the contract that he got? Why does Trevor Lawrence deserve the contract he got? Justin Herbert, why does he deserve that? Why does Dak Prescott now deserve another $60 million a year? And, you know, I know what my partner would say, well, because he's next. How about instead of paying these guys because they're next, pay them on performance? And then you say, hey, Justin Herbert, your potential is out the roof, but you know what? You haven't done anything yet. So we're going to pay you this until you do this, and then we'll pay you that. How does that sound? Does that make too much sense? Because when you see guys getting contracts just because they're next, and because that's the way it's always been done, to me is ridiculous. Look, they changed things thanks to Sam Bradford. They changed the way they deal with rookies. Can't we change other things as well? Look, I'm all for guys getting money. It's a tough sport. I know the lifespan of some of those players is short. They want to make all the money they can make, and I don't begrudge anybody that at all. But how about performance-based salaries? How about that? I like the idea of that. When you go into a Patrick Mahomes who's got 3 Super Bowl rings and he's been to 4, I'm paying that guy whatever he wants. But a Josh Allen, a Dak Prescott, a Kirk Cousins, I mean, seriously. Right now, and get ready to scream and please don't drive off the road. I would pay Brock Purdy more than I would pay Dak Prescott because he's had more success. Don't look at me like that, Pledge.
No, I'm not.
I mean, I'm just saying.
Nothing wrong with that.
What would be wrong with a performance-based salary? instead of just saying, well, we need a good quarterback and you're the best we can do, so here's $60 million.
Well, here's the real thing, and this is where we always get caught in the woods of things. Why are we protecting billionaires?
Well, look.
No, seriously, because when you talk about, we need to have these rules in place to protect the billionaires from themselves. Nobody's forcing them to pay anything, right? They have all the power. We always talk about negotiations. They have all the power. They can, all right, y'all want to hold out? Fine. We can wait and billionaires versus millionaires, and then y'all will come back and we'll have a season, right? We always talk about that in negotiations on who has the hand or the leverage in any negotiations. But they seemingly can't bring themselves to not pay a Daniel Jones.
Because they need a quarterback. I mean, look, that was stupid. I agree with you. The problem is, in every business, it doesn't matter because most businesses are run by billionaires. Football's no different. Most of them are. Most big businesses, there's a billionaire somewhere. You got to have rules. And the reason the salary cap came about was because team owners like Jerry Jones go out and spend a hell of a lot more than, the owner of the Carolina Panthers can spend. I mean, so that's why you do that. That's exactly why you have a salary cap, to make the playing field level. You got to have some sort of control there, or else it's going to be college football. Your guys transferring all over the place and going here because this guy, and it'll be chaos. You've got to have a system, and that's what makes the NFL the NFL. It has nothing to do with millionaires against billionaires. Jerry Jones could pay Dak Prescott $200 million a year if he wanted to. But he can't, because there are rules that we all have to abide by, that they have to abide by. And if you don't, it's chaos. And you can't put the quarterbacks on the outside looking in, because, again, that's going to cause chaos. It would cause complete chaos. So, look, the answer is, and I don't know if we'll ever get to that, because the NFL, there's two sides here. And look, it's the union's job to reel in these NFL owners, is it not? Isn't that what they're there for? Is to say, hey, our guy deserves this. And the owner says, no, I think he deserves this, or we don't want to pay you that. At some point in time, if you're worried about billionaires screwing millionaires, then the union's got to do something about that. I mean, they absolutely have to do something about that. And I just think there's got to come to a system, because we're going to get to a point where within a very short period of time where quarterbacks are going to be making $100 million a year. And the poor guy that's safety is going to have to pay for that. I don't know. It's a tricky situation, sticky situation, and you guys have a lot of thoughts on this. So let's go to the phone lines at 656-ESPN, 656-3776. Mario was first in. Mario, what do you think about this whole quarterback thing?
Hey, Joe. So I think a way to make parity across all NFL salary is that one player cannot equate to more than 15% of the cap. That still allows it to grow every year, but it's more manageable, and you can still build a team.
See, Mario, that makes a lot of sense. It really does, and I'm with you, but I don't know that the union would allow that, and that's the problem we have. I appreciate the phone call, Mario. Thank you for that. Let's go back to the phone lines. Paul, welcome to the Blitz.
Hey, Joe, how you doing?
Good, man.
Hey, I agree with you about a incentive-laden contract. The only problem that comes up, like say Dak Prescott gets a bonus at 30 touchdown passes. The last game of the season, he's at 29, and CD drops a four short touchdowns.
That has happened.
Can you imagine what that's going to create?
Sure. No,
it could be, a bonus, a $5 million bonus if you hit 30 touchdowns. And he just cost me $5 million right there because he dropped the ball.
I see where you're coming from. I just think, look, some of these quarterback contracts are ridiculous. And it's because who's next? And I will never understand that, because you get a guy like Daniel Jones, who most likely is not going to be with the New York Giants after this year.
Nope.
And you paid him a boatload of money. And look.
And that's Daniel Jones' fault somehow?
Well, no, it's not his fault. But it's who's next, right? And they had to pay him because they were trying to make him the guy. They were trying to make him the guy. Kept thinking he was going to be the guy. Same's happening with Justin Herbert. Same's happening with Trevor Lawrence. Those guys got paid on potential. Pure potential.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they got paid for. Dak Prescott got paid on potential because he was next, right? $40 million a year that he's making was for potential. They thought he was the guy that was going to lead them. He hadn't done it. So do you still pay him on potential after he's going into his 9th year of his contract, or whomever? I'm not picking on Dak in this particular respect.
Kind of sounds like it.
Never. Come on. I don't pick on Dak, that poor guy.
And also on your incentive potential, right? What happens, 30 touchdowns, you get, a $10 million bonus, whatever it may be. Owner doesn't want to pay that. You're up by 14, 17, 21 late in the fourth quarter. All of a sudden, owner calls down, hey, pull him out of the game. I don't want him to throw a touchdown and have to pay this bonus out.
Sure. I mean, that could happen. It could certainly happen. But where does this end? Do we just let it go and see where it ends? I mean, honestly.
Or do we trust the people that have money that they'll be able to course correct like they did with the running back market? They're able to do this themselves. They don't want to.
Not
it's
with
on
quarterbacks,
them.
They're not. That's a difference. The NFL evolved into a pass-happy league.
Yes, it has.
And
there's still only 15 that are any good.
So running backs became expendable. That's just a fact. I don't know if wide receivers will become expendable. Right now, you've got an overload of wide receivers because there's a shortage of running backs. If you're a college kid, why would you want to be a running back? I wouldn't. There's no future in it. There's just not. And so it's a tricky situation. Maybe the incentive based is not, but I hate this thing. Well, he's got to get paid because he's next. That makes no sense. What business anywhere, hey, we're going to give you a raise because, well, you're next. That's fantasy land where we're living right now. It just makes absolutely no sense. I would love to continue on with this comments. We got a bunch of folks here that want to talk about this, but we got stuff to do. In fact, we're going to be giving away a $50 gift card to Tri-County Meat Market coming in. Have you guys hang on the phone lines? I'll try to get to as many of your calls as I can. What do you think, Pledge? Because I want to continue this topic. We have to take a break. I'm up against it. In fact, I am late. When we come back, we'll get your phone calls. We'll also tell you what's on tap, and we'll give away a $50 gift card to Tri-County. One of them, John McClain at 5:15, and then after that, Antonio Daniels, former Spur Antonio Daniels. He will join us at 5:30. Stay where you're at. The Blitz continues right here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
You're locked on the Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons 2 to 6, KTFM Floresville, and everywhere at sasportstar.com.
Nobody ever plans on getting arrested, but it does happen to a lot of people every day for all kinds of reasons. If you get arrested, you want to get out of jail fast. Best way to do that? Call my good friend Albert and his great staff at AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121. Text bail to 474747, or you can start the bonding process online at mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else to get out of jail, and you don't want to be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you a PR bond, make sure you truly understand what all those conditions are before accepting it. Your best option for stress-free bail bonds is AA Best Bail Bonds, because nobody beats their price. They offer payment plans, have a free shuttle service. They are discreet and confidential and open 24/7 with offices all over San Antonio and Texas, services nationwide. If you're up in Dallas, down in Corpus, anywhere in between, license number 149, call AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121, or go online at mybestbailbonds.com.
Saving for retirement was tough enough for us.
Yes, and navigating markets can be challenging at times.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we take a disciplined approach with your investments.
Tell us more about that.
We take an active approach to money management, positioning your portfolio for opportunities we see ahead.
So all your clients get the same portfolio?
No, we tailor your portfolio to your individual goals and needs.
What about communication? We don't like being left in the dark.
We check in regularly to keep you informed on the markets and your portfolio.
Which means you'll help us stay on track.
Yes, our goal is your comfortable retirement. And as a fiduciary, we always put your interests first, because we do better when you do better. At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
You know, living here in San Antonio and South Texas, a water softener is almost a requirement. The water is hard. You know this. It affects your appliances and all of that kind of stuff. And the best water softener to buy is a Connecticut quality water softener. Connecticut's been serving San Antonio for over 50 years. They're made in America, up to 80% more efficient than competing models. Got a simple design, fewer moving parts, and the best thing about it is there's nothing to plug in. There won't be an increase in your electric bill. Connecticut quality water softeners are the best in the business, and right now they have got the best deal for you. Connecticut is going to let you try a quality water softener in your home for 90 days, absolutely free with no contract. Call them today. 656-PURE. That's 656-7873 or ConnecticutSA.com. You know the jingle. Sing it with me. Connecticut, the last water softener you'll ever own. Call 656-PURE. Connecticut.
The light is fading, your hands are sore, and the last tool has been put away. Now is the time to feel the satisfaction that comes with a job well done. But when you get your tools from Harbor Freight, something about the job feels a little different. Your wallet. Because we believe that everyone deserves hardworking tools at hardworking prices. And that's what we have here. So, whatever you do it for less at Harbor Freight.
Todd is a real Prevagen user, and this is his story.
Hi, I'm Todd, and I live in Georgia. I'm a veteran of 23 years. I love to give back to the community, whether it's my fellow veterans, some guy on the street corner. I offer what I can when I can. I started noticing that my memory was slipping, and I wanted to take proactive measures to try to help that. I saw a Prevagen commercial and I did some research on it, and I wanted to find out, does this stuff really work? I started taking Prevagen about 3 years ago. Since taking Prevagen, I feel clearer in my thoughts, my memory has improved, and generally just more on point.
Prevagen is available in stores everywhere without a prescription. Based on a clinical study of subgroups of individuals who are cognitively normal or mildly impaired, this product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or analyst was compensated for their time.
94.1 San Antonio's Sports Center.
Well, the Lakers have made it official and hired JJ Redick as their next head coach. 4 years at $8 million per year. The draft less than a week away. Spurs rumors have picked up. According to reports, Zachary Richichet will be in San Antonio tomorrow to work out for the Spurs. And the Aggies beat Florida. They're going to take on Tennessee for the College World Series title beginning Saturday.
Sports Center is brought to you by Buyers Barricades, the Texas Authority in Barricade Rental. BuyersBarricades.com.
Joe Reinagle.
That's the third time in 7 seasons. The San Antonio Spurs are the NBA champions.
Jason Minix.
They go back to big day as Super Bowl champions. Dallas 52, Buffalo 17.
It's the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Hey, what a day. You know, you never know what kind of topic is going to get people fired up. And Pledge and I have been debating this the whole commercial, the whole break. We've been in here debating this whole quarterback thing, and that's where we stand right now as we come back to the Blitz. Here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star, I'm Joe Reinagle. James Pledger in the glass box of fun. Jason Minix is on vacation. I got to tell you real quick about Jason Minix. He sent us all a picture. He posted it. I don't know if it's Facebook or Instagram or one of the socials.
It's Instagram.
It was Instagram. And he is in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. Beautiful place. But Minix looked miserable in this picture. And I'm going to just say he looked absolutely miserable. And he probably is not. He's probably having a great time. And he can tell you all about it when he gets back. But this dude's out on a river in a boat with more clothes on than I've seen in a long time. He's got the hood up. He's got a big old jacket on and the life vest around that. And he's just like, he looked miserable. It's cold in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. He sent pictures when he first got there. It was snowing in June. So poor Minix, it's cold there. Although he did send some pretty good pictures today of the, the Yellowstone
Old Faithful.
Old Faithful going off and all of that kind of stuff. But, man, he looked miserable in that one picture on the river. He was cold. He looked absolutely miserable. All right, hey, before we went to break, we're talking about this whole quarterback thing. And, man, I tell you what, when we first started talking about this, I didn't know what kind of traction it would get. And you never know in this business, right? And so owners are, according to a report in Bleacher Report, are talking about how to kind of rein this in. The whole quarterback salaries that are just exploding. And some are talking about a quarterback salary cap. And by that, they don't mean just a cap by itself. They're talking about a cap on salaries for quarterbacks. And some of you agree with that. Some of you don't. My good friend James Pledger does not. He thinks the fair market system should work it out and work its magic. And in most cases, I agree with him.
I mean, they don't have to do anything.
They don't. And that's the thing. And it's a great point. And when you're talking about a Daniel Jones or a Justin Herbert or a Trevor Lawrence, teams are paying them based on potential and thinking they can't find anybody else. And that's the problem. You look at a guy like Dak Prescott, who got his contract, $160 million. He's up for another one. And there's been rumors that he's going to be the highest paid quarterback, possibly as high as $60 million. And the question is, where's it going to end? And James, you made a point that I had to think about. You're talking about, you're limiting the potential of these guys to make the money that they can make.
Sure.
The problem is that it's only quarterbacks that are getting to that level. A guy like Justin Jefferson, $35 million, highest paid non-quarterback in the NFL.
Absolutely.
He was not going to make any more money anywhere else. If he'd have said, screw you, Minnesota, I'm going to go out and get $50 million somewhere. He could have done that, and nobody going to pay him that.
He might have gotten 36, 37 somewhere else.
We'll see that. Now we're splitting hairs. We're splitting hairs, and I don't think that he would have.
I mean, you just don't know. And you like to say this all the time. You don't know.
Yeah, okay. Take that chance. When you got $35 million staring a year, by the way, staring you in the face, $200 million, I think that was guaranteed, or something ridiculous like that.
That's right.
Okay. And you're going to say, maybe I can get 36 down the road.
That's
his choice.
That's his choice.
But he's capped. Micah Parsons is going to be capped. CeeDee Lamb is going to be capped as to what they can make. The only position right now that's not, it seems, is the quarterback. And we're talking about guys, for example, and I'll ask you all this too, and I want your opinion on this. And we got a limited time for this because we got to get to some other things pretty quick here. But would you pay Daniel Jones $45 million? Or would you rather pay that to, say, I don't know, Micah Parsons? And that's where we're getting into this because quarterbacks are so valuable and other position players aren't. And that's the thing. Let's hit the phone lines before we have to move on and give some stuff away and tell you what's going on this weekend. Who do we got here? David, you've been holding the longest, it looks like. Well, welcome to the Blitz. What are your thoughts?
So, first of all, it's capitalism, man. If you have a problem with this, and you have a problem with the American economy system.
Oh, stop it. That makes no sense at all. Stop it.
It's capitalism.
Dude, it's not. It's the NFL. They have a salary cap. And capitalism? All right, well, tell that to Micah Parsons when he wants $50 million and nobody's going to pay him that because he's capped. But yet a quarterback can command anything. So it's not a fair system if you look at it that way.
I agree. It's because it's not pure capitalism. I agree, but I apologize.
Don't ever apologize for a take, buddy. We'll debate. And
fair enough. That wasn't my take. Here's
okay.
my thoughts. I actually think that compartmentalized quarterback salary cap is a good idea. But I think that the best way to handle that would be to get the union involved. Let them figure out what metrics, some kind of algorithm that determines what that cap might be for potential quarterback, whether it be individual stats, whether it be team records. Put that ball in their court. Let them determine that.
I hear you, man. David, I appreciate the phone call, my friend. I'm sorry I got to cut you short. We're running late. I want to get to Trey real quick. Trey, welcome to the Blitz. Make it quick, my friend.
Thank you, guys. Really quick. Jerry Jones bought the Cowboys for $150 million. They're worth now over $9 billion. 30 of the top 50 franchises in the world belong in the NFL. The NFL owners have the money. They need to pay these guys. No matter what happens, quarterbacks put cheeks in the seats, and that's what these owners want. Michael Parsons can show up and not get a sack in 2 weeks, not pressure the quarterback, and no one's going to say a word. They're going to blame it on Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott and those quarterbacks deserve the money, and they just got to pay those men.
All right, Trey. Good call. I appreciate that very much. We'll continue this conversation because I love it, and everybody's got some great feelings about it. But we're going to do something we normally do later in the show, a little bit early. It's what we tell you what's happening this weekend. We call it What's on Tap.
The Blitz wants you to know what's on tap. Presented by Sam's Burger Joint.
What's on Tap brought to you by Sam's Burger Joint. Tonight out at Sam's Burger Joint, you get out there. Granville Pointer is playing out there. They've got a great lineup all weekend long. Friday night, Reuben V. Saturday night, Rock and Roll Over. It's a tribute to Kiss. And then Sunday, you've got Los No. 3 dinners and live and local Cian Drive on Tuesday night out at Sam's Burger Joint. Other things going on tonight. The Superhero 2024 Comic-Con is taking place out at Freeman Coliseum. Josh Baca and the Hot Tamales out at Green Hall tonight. Aztec Theater has, what is that, Pledge? Is it Dive?
Div.
Is that like
D-I-I-V.
DiVo? Okay, that was bad. ACL Live, the drive-by truckers. And at the Boeing Center at Tech Point, you have Excision out there. It sounds like that would be an interesting show to go see. Otherwise, this weekend, Friday night at Floor's Country Store, are a lot of things happening. Friday night, Tyler Halverson is out at Floor's Country Store. Uncle Lucius is at Stable Hall. You got Louis the Singer at the Aztec Theater. Blue Bonnet Palace has Clay Hollis out there on Friday night in the LOL Comedy Club. TJ Miller. Saturday night, Green Hall. Cooter Graw is out at Green Hall. That'll be fun. Should be a lot of fun. Majestic Theater on Saturday night has the music of Led Zeppelin with the San Antonio Philharmonic. Wow, that'd be kind of cool. Alamo Dome has The Shift, Warriors of Deliverance. Toyota Field on Saturday night, SAFC versus New Mexico United. And at 502 Bar, you have Kate Angel. Frostbank Center on Sunday night. Melanie Martinez, Matt Kirk, and the Wayfarers out of Green Hall. And Freeman Coliseum again. The 2024 Comic-Con is taking place out there. That's What's on Tap, brought to you by Sam's Burger Joint. Check them out. Great food out there and great entertainment. We also do something else, Pledge, on Thursday.
Grilling with the Blitz, presented by Tri-County Meat Market.
Grilling with the Blitz, a chance for you to win $50 at Tri-County Meat Market. This week's winner is, boy, it looks delicious. You got homemade sausage, you got a beer can chicken, and it looks like some ribs as well. So it was quite the feast out there. And, I got the guy's name here somewhere. Anyway, we'll find it too. We'll send it to you. You just want a $50 gift certificate to Tri-County Meat Market, the Hebner Road location. We'll let them know, and we will get that to you. I got to find that real quick. Don't I, Pledge? Here it is, right here. It is Mike Ramone Mike Ramone, you are a winner of the $50 gift card to Tri-County Meat Market. The General, John McClain, he joins us next here on The Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. You know, there's only one name in roofing that stands high above the rest. That's Stevens Roofing. The weather, boy, it hasn't been good. My wife texted me a minute ago, says our yard has got a little standing water in it. So a lot of rain happening there and more in the forecast. And, boy, you just hope that we don't get it horrible where it does a lot of damage to your roof. But if it does, if it happens, you need to remember Stevens Roofing. Look, a quality roof overhead by Stevens Roofing means comfort. It means confidence. It certainly means peace of mind. It is protection for all the things you love. If you're in the market for repairs, a replacement roof, an upgrade, you want to work with an experienced team that is local. That is Stevens Roofing. Give them a call, 210-785-0994. You can also get them online at stevensroofing.net. Look, Stevens Roofing has been in business in San Antonio and South Texas for many years, and they're not going anywhere. And that tells me they are reliable and they do a great job and have a lot of satisfied customers. Call Stevens Roofing, 210-785-0994.
94.1 FM.
Testosterone levels in men can start to decrease as early as 30 years old, and long-term health risks can be extremely damaging to your body. Rock's Discount Vitamins carries a variety of natural testosterone boosters that can immediately provide you with more energy, increased libido, increased metabolism, and improve your mood. Rock's Discount Vitamins natural testosterone boosters can even help you build muscle and lose weight faster. With 11 San Antonio locations, visit rocksdiscountvitamins.com. Thanking God and South Texas for all the support.
My weekend plans were already looking good, but now they're looking pretty epic thanks to the deals at Kohl's. I just saved on great summer essentials like shorts for my whole family at $16.99 and some cute dresses for 40% off. I also saved up to 85% off clearance after an extra 50% off. And with their Buy More, Save More offer, I saved $10 when I spent $50. Plus, I earned Kohl's cash. So take it from me. You need to get to Kohl's for epic deals ASAP. Select styles. Offers end June 23rd. Extra 50% off clearance valid through June 25th. Coupons and Kohl's cash do not apply to Sephora. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
I want to learn how to cook, but I keep ordering takeout.
Accomplishing goals is hard, but when your goal is to learn a new language, Babbel makes it easy. In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel will help you start having conversations in as little as 3 weeks. Words and phrases you'll actually use. So when someone asks, "How's your French going?" you can say,
Babbel facilite grandement l'apprentissage d'une nouvelle langue.
Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
Hi, my name is Jason Thompson. I'm an attorney here in San Antonio representing people and families who've been injured in traffic collisions since 1994. The reason it's important to call me as soon as possible is the number of tricks and mistakes you can make, even up to talking to insurance companies, which I'm going to tell you not to do. And also some of the billing practices that are local hospitals. And over the last year, I've seen more and more of this, where hospitals are asking patients to assign benefits they do not have to assign, all in an effort to get more than they would receive if all you used was your health insurance. When you call, I will give you your options. We'll talk about your case. And all of that is free of charge. If you or a family member has been injured in a traffic accident, whether car, commercial truck, motorcycle, I want you to call me as soon as possible after the collision. My number, 210-900-0400. That's 210-900-0400. Or go to my website at alawyerforus.com.
With a true Vegas feel, the Big Blind is the premier poker room in San Antonio, featuring an upscale environment catering to players from all abilities. From high-octane tournaments or lively cash games, the Big Blind has a game for everyone, including blackjack tournaments. From the owners of the Roo Pub and the Angry Elephant, the Big Blind is locally owned and operated, offering daily cash games to daily, weekly, and monthly tournaments. Learn more online at thebigblindsa.com. The Big Blind at 281 and Redland Road.
Guys, did you know your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED? And right now, Revive Men's Health San Antonio will check your testosterone for free. They've helped thousands of men since 2011 feel and perform better. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Schedule your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation today. Call 210-615-7777. That's 210-615-7777. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Ready for the ultimate outdoor adventure? 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star has your chance to win a getaway to Telluride, Colorado. Your prize package includes airfare and luxurious hotel accommodations for two, plus thrilling expeditions like fly fishing, kayaking, ATV rides, and more. And it could be all yours. Enter once per day at sasportstar.com. You must be 18 or older to play. This is an Alpha Media company-wide contest. One winner will be chosen. Complete rules at sasportstar.com. Don't miss out on the adventure of a lifetime. Enter now at sasportstar.com.
This is Jim Rome, and you're listening to 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Yes, you are, and happy Thursday, everybody. I'm Joe Reinagle. Jason Minnick's on vacation. James Pledger here, pushing the buttons, and I'm really happy that this guy's not on vacation. John McClain of HoustonTexans.com here via the Buyers Barricade guest line. The General. John, how you doing?
I'm great, Joe. How are you?
Well, I'm doing great. Going solo here for a few days while Minix is out there freezing his butt off in Wyoming.
Oh, wow. Good for him.
I guess.
What's he doing? Fly fishing? I don't think so.
I don't think Minix knows what a fish is other than one that is served to him on a plate at a restaurant.
Well, he's getting a lot better. He's getting a lot cooler weather than we are.
John McClain with us from HoustonTexans.com. And John, you have a great article up right now at HoustonTexans.com, and it's all about D'Amico Ryans, his first offseason compared to the second one going into training camp. And you say it's like night and day, or he says that.
Joe, it's like that for any coach who is a first-year coach. And I'm not talking about a guy like Mike McCarthy, who'd been a coach before, but it doesn't matter how long you're an assistant coach, whether you're a coordinator, what level, when you become a head coach for the first time, all the things that you have to learn and all the things you have to do, and so much of it doesn't involve what's on the field. Imagine as soon as a guy gets hired, he's got to find a place to live. Well, his wife does most of that. He's got to interview current coaches. He's got to interview current players. Then he's got to try to hire coaches. He's got to install systems. He's got to fix up OTAs and off-season program. And he's got to rely on so many people. It's almost overwhelming. And the gist of the call is D'Amico Ryans a year later and how much more comfortable he is. And you could say this about any first-year coach because he's got his staff. He knows them. They know him. You know, he didn't know Nick Caserio when Caserio hired him. Now he knows the scouts. They know what kind of player he wants at each position. He says, now I don't have all these meetings. He said that are non-football. He said, now I can focus just on football and getting ready for his second training camp. And I was kind of fascinated when he laid it all out there about what he had to do last year. This one, Coach Smith's staff, he had only two coaches, offense coordinator Bobby Slowick, safeties coach Stephen Abike, that he had worked with. And so they had to know him. He had to learn them. And it's a great thing, of course, to be a head coach for the first time. You know, your income goes up by millions, but man, it is a 24/7 proposition, and you better have a very understanding wife.
Well, I think coaches' wives, John, and you know this, are probably the most patient people on the planet because once football season starts, and even before that, they're kind of just by themselves a long time.
If you look, Joe, at some of those guys, the jobs they've had, you know, no, they all bounce around. But some of them bounce around like every year, every other year. And so I've had coaches tell me that there's certain boxes that the wives put certain things in that she doesn't need immediately. And after the coach has been there a year and it looks like he'll be the second year, then she will unpack those boxes. But if he's got to leave because the staff's fired or he gets a better job, those certain boxes are already packed.
That's a great read on HoustonTexans.com. Go read it. John McClain, the general from HoustonTexans.com, joining us here on the Blitz. And John, I'm curious to get your thoughts because we've been having a debate here today. Bleacher Report came out with an article, and I'm sure there's the others that have as well by now. But owners now concerned about quarterback salaries, talking about salary caps, perhaps for quarterbacks, or doing something a little bit different. First and foremost, your thoughts on anything like that?
Well, they thought at the time there would be no salary cap in football, and then there was. And then there's a different kind of salary cap in basketball. And baseball has a spending, you can spend all you want, but you pay severe penalties for doing it. The few owners don't care if they've got to spend $38 million more a year because they've reached a certain level. But it's it's like you put an alcoholic in front of a drink, and he wants you to keep him from drinking it because he can't help himself. And the owners are asking the players to agree to legislate against themselves. Why in the world would they agree to put a cap on just quarterbacks? It'll never happen. If they want something like, just quit spending it. Well, the league will sue them for collusion. The league has sued them many times for collusion. I think they have a case that's been filed as it is about collusion. And so if the owners don't want to do it, then if Jerry Jones didn't want to do it, okay, let Dak Prescott play out his option, go somewhere else, and elevate Cooper Rush or my mind's gone.
Trey Lance, Trey Lance.
Trey Lance, and then have people scream about why they got rid of Dak. But the fact is, if the owners didn't have it, they wouldn't spend it. If they didn't want to spend it, they wouldn't spend it.
Well, I tell you what, it's just it's outrageous the way quarterback salaries are going. But we'll see how that plays out.
It is, Joe.
Yeah.
The one thing to keep in mind, though, it's not how many millions; it's the percentage of the cap that the quarterback takes up. I read a thing the other day that Aaron Rodgers' previous contract with the Packers took up a bigger percentage of their cap than any of they're taking up today. Now, the Cowboys, I read a great thing about this, that Dak Prescott says is going to cost them $60 million. And then CeeDee Lamb will cost them at least $30. And then Micah Parsons wants money like Nick Bosa, who makes 34. So say he's 35. 3 players. Those numbers and then the dead money, if they were to get rid of them, if they let Prescott go, I think it'd be like $45 million in dead money charge. And you can do that. You can take the hit, but you got to realize if you're going to take that hit, chances are you're not bringing in a lot of players. So the Cowboys have gotten themselves in that. It's their own fault. Times since Dak Prescott was eligible for his first extension, they could have extended him on a longer contract and got better deals. They've just not done a good job of his entire salary cap structure, and nobody is happier about it than Dak and his agent.
Well, that's true, and Dak has all the leverage in the world in this thing. I mean, no trade clause. They can't tag him. He can just sit back and say, I want this, and if you don't, well, somebody will pay me.
And that's the thing. The Cowboys have talent. Cowboys always threat to win the division. They should be a Super Bowl contender, even though they stink it up in the playoffs. But they put themselves in this situation. They got some smart people in there. Jerry Jones is not stupid. He's got Will McClay in there. They've got a good front office. Problem is, they just can't do it on the field in the playoffs. And I think if the Cowboys keep Dak Prescott, they will always be a contender, but I don't think they'll win it.
Very interesting stuff. Follow him on Twitter at McClain_on_NFL. John McClain with HoustonTexans.com. Always great stuff that you have on HoustonTexans.com, including the D'Amico Ryan story that you have up right now. John, enjoy your Thursday, and thanks for joining us today.
Doug, thank you very much. I appreciate it as always.
John McClain, the general, joining us courtesy of Buyers Barricades. All guests, in fact, appear via Buyers Barricades guest line. Buyers Barricades provides traffic control, rental, and sales for San Antonio and beyond. Online at buyersbarricades.com. We go from the general to Antonio Daniels. Former Spur will join us next here on the Blitz.
It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
Friday on the Morning Huddle, we'll close out what feels like a short week. There's hockey to talk about at least.
Yeah, will there be any more to discuss? We'll figure that out and see if we got some football to talk. It's the Morning Huddle. We'll start at 6 right here on 94.1.
It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson. Mornings 6 to 10 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
You know, with the basketball season over, the regular NBA season at least, you know that there are still games to be played and games to watch. And a way to make all those games more interesting and fun is by playing Underdog Fantasy, a fan favorite way to play fantasy sports. And I love playing the Pick'em game at Underdog Fantasy. It's easy to play. You build your entry, your Pick'em entry between 2 and 5 players, and all you have to do is put your fantasy skill to the test. Select higher or lower on player stats. If your picks hit, you can win up to 100 times your money. It is fantasy. It is legal in Texas and easy to play, easy to get started. Just go to the website, UnderdogFantasy.com, or download their easy-to-use mobile app. Sign up with my promo code STAR, and Underdog will give you a mystery special pick to use on your first Pick'em entry and a deposit offer. Must be over 18 and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org. Again, promo code STAR when you sign up at UnderdogFantasy.com.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
There's never any FOMO with the iHeartRadio app. You won't ever have to miss out on your favorite shows and contests with this radio station again. Radio 24/7, 365. We're here when you want us. Stay connected and listen anywhere when you download the free iHeartRadio app.
Hi, my name is Jason Thompson. I'm an attorney here in San Antonio representing people and families who've been injured in traffic collisions since 1994. The reason it's important to call me as soon as possible is the number of tricks and mistakes you can make, even up to talking to insurance companies, which I'm going to tell you not to do. And also some of the billing practices at our local hospitals. And over the last year, I've seen more and more of this, where hospitals are asking patients to assign benefits they do not have to assign, all in an effort to get more money to the hospital than they would receive if all you used was your health insurance. When you call, I will give you your options. We'll talk about your case. And all of that is free of charge. If you or a family member has been injured in a traffic accident, whether car, commercial truck, motorcycle, I want you to call me as soon as possible after the collision. My number, 210-900-0400. That's 210. My website at alawyerforus.com.
The Ace Superhero Comic-Con presented by Thomas J. Henry is coming June 20th to the 23rd. Meet Star Trek's Chris Pine, Spider-Man Far From Home star Jake Gyllenhaal, Pirates of the Caribbean's Orlando Bloom, Star Wars Diego Luna, She-Hulk's Tatiana Maslany, and the Marvels Aman Vellani. Plus, the Supermen, Ghostbusters Ernie Hudson, and Arrow's Stephen Amell and David Ramsey. Get your event passes now at pmxevents.com. That's pmxevents.com.
Dave Ramsey here. The only water softener I recommend is a quality water softener from Connecticut. It really is the last water softener you'll ever own.
ConnecticutSA.com.
And tell them Dave Ramsey sent you.
Hey everybody, it's Rob Thompson here for Prize Picks. It is my game of fun and fantasy, and it's time for the excitement for summer sports to begin. And I say the best way to take summer sports and have the fun with it is to take it to the next level with Prize Picks, America's #1 fantasy sports app. A community of over 5 million players. If you're not a member, I promise you know one. Prize Picks, it's about more or less. It's about playing the things that you know. You can make Prize Picks a daily game, a weekly game, do whatever you like, and you can do it fast. You can turn $10 into $1,000 in just a couple of seconds by playing Prize Picks. So get ready to enjoy the fantasy games that you love with the app that is available. And here's the key right now. If you use the code ALAMO, that's Alamo, you'll get up to $100. Enter the code ALAMO at the Prize Picks app on your first deposit match of up to $100. You know the games are there. You're a fantasy player. Play them the right way. That's Prize Picks. Alamo today.
I'm AJ Hoffman from the Morning Huddle. Join me and Rob Thompson tomorrow morning at 6, your early morning wake-up call on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Happy Thursday, everybody. Hope you had a great Thursday afternoon. We're having a great Thursday afternoon right here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. I'm Joe Reinagel. Jason Minnick's on vacation, and James Pledger doing his thing in there. And we've got a guest on our Buyers Barricade guest line that, is long overdue. It's our good friend, Antonio Daniels, former Spur, NBA champion, and all around just good guy. Antonio, how are you, my friend?
I am truly blessed, Joe. How you doing, brother? Thanks for having me.
It's been a long time, my friend. I'm so happy that you agreed to come on with us because you're the perfect guy to have on at this point in time in the NBA calendar, I should say, since the season is over. First thing I just want to get your thoughts on the NBA Finals. And there's been a lot of discussion about the Boston Celtics and, are they a great team? Are they not a great team? Obviously, now they're NBA championships. What were your thoughts just on the finals in general?
Well, I picked the Boston Celtics in 6. I think what people lost sight of, because we live in a prisoner of the moment culture as far as sports is concerned. I think what people lost sight of is how dominant Boston was all year long. Like, you think about it, they won 64 games in the regular season. They were 64-18 in the regular season. That's not by accident. But what people focused on is, all right, in the first round, they played Miami. You know what? Miami didn't have Jimmy Butler. Miami didn't have Terry Rozier. Then they played the Cleveland Cavaliers. Cleveland Cavaliers didn't have Jared Allen. And Donovan Mitchell got hurt. And then in the Eastern Conference Finals, they played the Indiana Pacers, and Therese Halliburton get hurt. But the Pacers should have won game 1, and the Pacers should have won game 3. So everybody kept poking holes in what the Boston Celtics were doing, as opposed to focusing on what they were doing. At this particular time, Joe, before the NBA Finals started, they were 12-2. They lost 1 game to the Miami Heat. They lost 1 game to the Cleveland Cavaliers. They were 12-2, but people were so enamored by Kyrie Irving and Luka and the path that they took and who they had to beat that people completely forgot about who the Boston Celtics were and how good they were defensively, their defensive versatility, all these other things that came along with the Boston Celtics. So I expected a little bit of a better NBA Finals, but the NBA Finals did not surprise me one bit because we all know this. It's about matchups. Plain and simple. Nothing more than matchups, and the Boston Celtics were probably the worst opponent that the Dallas Mavericks could have faced in the NBA Finals.
It makes a lot of sense, Antonio. And do you buy in talking about Luka and the length of the season when you go from start all the way to finish and naturally to finish the NBA Finals, that maybe he was just wore out a little bit, or was it just the Celtics doing their thing?
Well, I think it's a little bit of both. I don't think it's wrong to say that, when you go back and look at some of the greats, and you can throw Luka in there with the greats, Michael Jordan, when he was trying to get past the Detroit Pistons, they said he needed to get stronger. You remember when LeBron James played the San Antonio Spurs in the NBA Finals, and they just completely backed off of him? Mm-hmm. Now he had to add a mid-range to his jump shot, right? Giannis Antetokounmpo. There are always, when you're trying to get over that hump, there are things that you need to add.
And I think the biggest thing that Luka needs to learn from this finals run is he has to get in better shape. He has to get in better condition, because now what happens is we get your offensive responsibility. This is why you respect so much what Tim Duncan did, why you respect so much what Kobe Bryant did and Michael Jordan did and all those guys did, because to be able to do it on both sides of the basketball, you have the offensive responsibility, but also the defensive matchup, like take that matchup, you have to be in an incredible condition to be able to do this. But it's something that you have to learn. And it's not something that you know your first time out there. So hopefully with this finals run, this is something that Luka could take from this. Maybe the conditioning that I was coming in with was good enough to get to the first round or good enough to get to the second round, but it's not good enough to get that Dallas Mavericks team over the hump.
We're visiting with Antonio Daniels, who now is he's on this side of the microphone doing broadcasting for Fox Sports New Orleans, covering the Pelicans alongside our good friend Joel Myers. Love that guy. We'll talk about him in just a minute. But AD, we got to talk a little San Antonio Spurs because, well, we've got a prospect that folks say is a generational prospect. And the debate here in San Antonio, my friend, is how do you build around him and how fast do you go? What do you think?
Well, I tell you what he's done. He's expedited the process, because when he first came in, the thought was, okay, the Spurs can afford to take it slow. They can afford to take it slow and year by year. Now you can't. There are two things I'll say about Victor Wembanyama. One of them, I think a year from now, he'll be the best player in the world. And my co-host told me this the other day, and I love the way he put it. If you could press start, scroll down to settings, and then take injuries off, he realistically has an opportunity to be the best player that's ever played this game.
Wow.
And that's real. That is like to watch Victor Wembanyama up close and personal. To watch, you can hear the hype and he's going to be this and going to be that. But when you see it, and he has an edge to him. So I don't have a problem. I'm not big on hyperbole. Watching a lot of the sports shows where they hot takes and they're all over the place. I have a problem. I have no problem whatsoever saying a year from now, San Antonio Spurs could easily have the best player in the world. In 10 to 15 years from now, San Antonio could have the best player that ever touched the basketball. I don't have a issue or problem saying that one bit.
Wow, that's high praise, Antonio. There's no question about it. So it begs the question now, because look, nobody expected the Spurs to only win 22 games. Nobody expected playoffs, but we certainly thought they would be a better team win-loss wise. What do you do with this guy? Do you just go with the draft and build slowly, or do you try to bring some veterans around him?
The thing about the San Antonio Spurs, they've never been the type of organization to go big game hunting. That's never been their style. Like if you go back and you look through their 20 years of sustained success, the best free agents that they brought in here I'm talking about via free agency, was Richard Jefferson and LaMarcus Aldridge. Those are the best two that I can think of right offhand via free agency. Everybody else they may have traded for, but here's the difference though. San Antonio has never been a free agent hotbed, but when you have a star like Victor Wembanyama, what'll happen in today's NBA, when you have young talent, people will line up to play with young talent. He is going to draw people to San Antonio. It's a given, even though it hasn't happened in the past. So, because when you have Tim Duncan here and David Robinson here, and you draft Monte Ginobili and you draft Tony Parker, in years past, they've done it organically. And it's worked for them. It's been fantastic. But now, the fact that you have this alien on your hand, you can do things differently. Because here's the thing. Popovich has coached some great talent. He's coached Tim Duncan and he's coached David Robinson, and we talked about Monte Ginobili and Tony Parker and all those guys. You know what? He's never coached someone with the skill set of Victor Wembanyama, though. So it's unfair for people to think just because Pop coached Tim and just because Pop coached David that he should have it all figured out with Victor Wembanyama, because this guy is something different than we've ever seen in this league before. So Pop is learning on the fly just like everybody else is.
Antonio, it's funny that you say that. And I know you're busy during the NBA season. I'm not sure how much you were able to follow Wemby But looking from this vantage point, it looked like he was lost at times in November and December. But when the calendar turned, it's almost like he had the mindset of, you know what, I actually belong here. I can play with these guys.
For me, I don't think it's when the calendar turned. I think it's when Pop said, you know what, we're going to play you at the center position. Because then he felt more comfortable. When he was at the center position, that's when everything changed. So now he's not out in the perimeter roaming all over. Like it was, I don't know what it was about removing Zach Collins from the starting lineup and putting Victor Wembanyama in the starting lineup. But this league is about confidence and it's about role definition. When Pop said, look, this is what we're going to do with you. We're going to put you at the 5 and we're going to rock with you at the 5. Everything changed for him once that happened.
Well, I tell you what, you make a good point. And not only that, I think when Trey Jones was inserted in at the point guard position, I think made a big difference too. Yeah,
it does, because for me, like, and no disrespect to Jeremy Sohan, and I understand the thought process that Pop had at that time, but the point guard position is not a skill set; it's a mindset. So when you have a guy who thinks like a point guard, right? I remember watching the San Antonio Spurs on nights where the New Orleans Pelicans weren't playing, and there were so many times that Wemby was open, but guys didn't know how to get him the ball because it's something that you have to learn. But when you have a guy like Trey Jones who thinks the position, right? Again, it's not a skill set, it's a mindset. So there are certain things that you think, and now you're putting Wemby in positions of success on one hand, but then you also have somebody on the other hand that knows how to get him that basketball as well. That's not what Jeremy Sohan did. That's not who he was. Like, you think about the course of his career going back to Baylor, like, he wasn't a point guard guy, but when you insert a point guard guy, now Wemby's running and he's rim running and these lobs are open and now he's getting a lot more easy opportunity. I think that's when things started to change for the San Antonio Spurs.
Well, if anybody would know the point guard position, it's you, Antonio. We're visiting with Antonio Daniels. Won a championship here in San Antonio in 1999. And, Antonio, I think not only just the point guard position and Jeremy Sohan, I think it was everybody on this team. And I think the point you made earlier about coaches, Pop has never coached a guy like this. Well, these players have never played with a guy like this. That's right. I think it took them a while to get used to him.
It did. The thing is, if you go in that locker room and ask anybody in that locker room, how many of you guys have ever played with a 7'4" guy that can step out and shoot threes, that can put the ball on the floor, that can run, that probably should have won Defensive Player of the Year? How many of you guys have played with someone like that? You know how many guys will raise their hand? None of them. None of them. Because he's different. And when you have something different, when you have something special, there's a process of growth for all that are involved. There's a process of growth that's involved from the coaching side. There's a process of growth that's involved from the player side. I remember people used to always say, man, they don't know how to get Victor Wembanyama the ball. Yes, I had to learn this. I had to learn where Tim Duncan wanted the ball, how he liked the ball. I had to learn where David Robertson wanted the ball. Like, that, again, that's a point guard stop process. But the way to learn it is with reps. That's how you learn it. You don't just learn it because someone tells you it's open. You can't, if you don't see it, it's not there. But when you start to play with guys and you start to watch film and on these off days and you start to realize and understand what it is you have on your hands, that's when things start to change. San Antonio beat some really, really good teams down the stretch. They came into New Orleans and beat the New Orleans Pelicans. They beat the Denver Nuggets last game of the season in a game that the Denver Nuggets needed. They grew throughout the course of this season. This is why when you start talking about the Western Conference next year and you start talking about, the Denver Nuggets and even the Boston Celtics repeating, there are some teams that are going to be completely different versions of themselves next year because this year of learning and growth and progress will serve them.
Antonio, that's interesting. And look, I don't know why it is, and there's no disrespect to anybody in the East, but it just seems like the West has been dominant for so long. Why do you think that is? I mean, your team in New Orleans to Oklahoma City to Minnesota, whoever it happens to be, why do you think that is?
I wouldn't say that the West is more dominant. Honestly, I would say more along the lines of right now we are in a different NBA. because in the past, the NBA has been about dynasty. From the Lakers to the Celtics to the Spurs to the Heat to the Golden State Warriors. But you know what, Joe? We have 6 different champions in the last 6 years. So now it's more about parity. It's not about one team just going out and dominating everybody else. There's no real villain team in the NBA. Like, I'm not comfortable now saying that the Boston Celtics will repeat next year. I'm not saying that. I'm not comfortable saying now that the Boston Celtics were in the NBA Finals versus the Denver Nuggets, that the Boston Celtics would have won. Because, again, it's about matchups. So I don't think it's as much about the East and West as much as it's about parity. I will say this, though. The West is incredibly deep, though. The West is so deep. When you think about all the teams this year, and that's without the San Antonio Spurs, that's without the Houston Rockets, that's without the Portland Trailblazers, that's without the Memphis Grizzlies, who will get Ja Morant back, who will get Desmond Bane back, who will get all these guys back. And all these guys are competing for 8 spots. All these teams are competing for 8 spots. So the West is incredibly deep because these teams are young and they're getting better every season.
No doubt. We're visiting with Antonio Daniels, who does the broadcast for the New Orleans Pelicans and does a very good job. I got to tell you, Antonio, you were always good, man, when I interviewed you back in the day. But, boy, you're pretty sharp now. You enjoying what you're doing?
I love what I do. Realistically, to be the color analyst for the New Orleans Pelicans and have a Sirius XM show every day, to actually get paid to talk about something that I'm passionate about, Joe, I couldn't ask for a better job outside of coaching in the NBA. I literally do love what I'm doing. I'm at every New Orleans Pelicans practice. I'm at every shoot around, great relationship with the guys and the coaching staff. And then when I'm not there, I'm talking about NBA basketball, for 15 hours a week on Sirius XM. So I'm blessed far more than I deserve.
Well, Antonio, James Pledger just reminded me that JJ Redick was hired with the Lakers today. Does that maybe open the door for an Antonio Daniels?
You know what? I will go where God takes me. I will tell you that. I will go where God places me. He won't send me somewhere that he hasn't qualified me to excel. Good for JJ. JJ was in New Orleans when his first couple years, and it's different. For me, the coaching hire is not about JJ Redick. It's more about the Los Angeles Lakers. I don't understand hiring someone, a rookie head coach, into a championship or bust situation. I don't. And I know what they're expecting. They're expecting JJ Redick to be, or wanting JJ Redick to be their Pat Riley. They bought Pat Riley from the radio booth way back in the 80s. Jerry Buss calls him, come on down and coach. And then we know the rest of that story. So that's what they're expecting JJ Redick to be. But the difference was Pat Riley wasn't coaching in a time of player empowerment. So when you have star players that have so much control, as much control as they do today, I think it's a completely different NBA environment that JJ Redick is stepping into. I wish him all the luck in the world, though. I would love to see him succeed.
Well, it's going to be fun to watch. That is for sure. And something else that's a lot of fun to watch is your basketball camp. And it's coming up, Antonio, in July. You've been doing this for a long time, man, and you're good at it. I know you're passionate about that.
Yeah, 23 years. This will be year 23.
Wow.
For me. And, me and my wife were just talking about this in the car. Everything we do now at this stage in our life is some form of ministry. And this is just a different form of ministry. This makes my summer. Any parent out there that has sent their kid to any basketball camp whatsoever, I would hold my camp up to that one any day of the week. Just to tell you the specifics of it, it's boys and girls ages 6 to 17. Every kid gets lunch. Every kid gets a camp T-shirt. I'm there all day, every day. It's not one of those camps that I put my name on it and I come in and I sign autographs or I roll basketballs out and tell them just to have fun. I take this seriously. I really do take this seriously because I truly believe that the words and the morals and values that we instill in those kids while we have them will carry on for once that ball stops bouncing. There are so many parallels, Joe, between life and basketball. And I know that I don't have these kids for an entire school year or for the entire summer. For the time that I have them to just try and instill something in these young men, something in these young women, when they step out of that gym at the end of the week, they're completely different than what they were when they got there.
Antonio, tell us when it is and how do folks get registered for it?
The dates of the camp are July 22nd through the 24th. It's at Cornerstone Christian School off of Northwest Military. And the easiest way to register is at www.danielsfamilyfoundation.com. Again, that's www.danielsfamilyfoundation.com. And if you can't afford to pay the whole thing, we gladly give out scholarships. Because the thing I don't want to do, I don't want to keep a kid out that deserves to be there but can't afford to be there.
Dude, you are the
So
best.
we offer scholarships as well.
Yeah, you're the best, man. Always are. And folks, I've seen him in action at his camp, and I don't know where he gets the energy from. It is really incredible. Antonio, always a thrill to talk to you, my friend.
Joe, I am truly blessed, man. God bless you, man. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you, Antonio. We appreciate it. Antonio Daniels, NBA champion with the San Antonio Spurs in 1999. Now, well, he's in the broadcast booth with Joel Myers for the New Orleans Pelicans, and he does a great job. And Antonio Daniels joining us via the Buyers Barricade guest line. Buyers Barricades provides traffic control, rental, and sales for San Antonio and beyond online at buyersbarricades.com. Again, danielsfamilyfoundation.com. The camp is coming up in July 22nd through the 24th. Antonio is the man. It's great talking to him. It's been too long, Pledge.
AD's fantastic. And he was one of those people when he worked here and he and Ari Timken had a show. And he was so perfect in everything he did on the air. You just knew he was going to be a superstar in the media game.
No doubt about it. And we'll have to watch that coaching thing. Said he that's still his passion is to coach. Interesting. We'll see where Antonio goes. Man, oh man, that was great. I had a blast. You know, you do interviews all the time, and some are better than others. But I love talking to Antonio Daniels, and I appreciate him joining us. You got a show today?
I do. Full hour.
Full hour for you today. Wow. What's going on? What are you going to talk about? Anything?
I figured probably talk a little bit about the salaries of quarterbacks in the NFL.
Oh boy, here we go.
What the Spurs will do in the draft. I'm actually going to have Jeff Garcia of Locked On Spurs join me at 6:15.
Outstanding.
So,
well, that's good. Extra Innings with Pledge is coming up. Thanks for joining us here today. We got a lot more for you tomorrow. Thanks, everybody. Have a great Thursday night. Extra Innings with Pledge is next.
Writing 1604 with the Blitz.